Well, here we go again. Topping back into more levels from Make Again Mega Man Level 3. And hey, maybe this time we'll find some more good ones. I mean, there was a couple last time. There was a couple of factual Mega Man levels mixed in there. But yeah. Not gonna lie, I kind of just wanted to take a nap today, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get the game up and running, shall we? Let's see, Make Again Mega Man Level 2, fix the monitor since I can't tell it where to... Oh, it's already on that setting. Interesting. Right, I actually set the monitor at one point during the pre-stream and kind of forgot. That's fine. The joys of dealing with more than one monitor and all the various ways the games like to not cooperate with that.
Showtime!
Yo, Paul, thank you for the 82 months. Getting out and spin it a little bit more for us today. So we're just getting things started. Game is currently loading. It's taking its time. It's got lots to load. There it goes.
Fresh meat.
I mean, 10 levels today will have 0 Joes and 0 Mets.
If there's even one, it'll be a small miracle, it feels like.
Yeah, you know, chasing with 2,500 biddies. Big old bits as we're just getting back into the costume shop and back into the elevator music.
Yo, Shinryu, how's it going? Yeah, you missed last time, I think, where we did, this one.
But we're moving right along into Tier 8, making some progress. Bit by bit. Who's this guy? Hey, what are you looking at, partner? You never seen a desert bandit in a poncho before. What do you think I am, some kind of pirate? Oh, that's a poncho? I thought it was a pirate flag. It looks so real, though. Where'd you buy it? Buy it? By all the shipwrecks of the damned. You dare to suggest I actually spend me loot? On a tawdry costume, no less. Pirate Man, I knew it was you. What are you doing here? I thought you were banned after what you tried to do last time. Of course I was, but do you think I'd let the opportunity to rob an eccentric billionaire sail me by?
He's got a point.
Alas, it seems this early will actually has more sense than money. I'd be seeing tough robots everywhere he goes. And I don't mean those competitors, but his own private force of rozzers. Oh dear, who's he think he is, Dr. Wily?
Showtime!
No, don't tell him.
He'll just make things worse for everyone.
Tell me, do you think we're getting us over to Luck and GMR? And Mars at the 58 months. Yes, yes, it is technically Independence Day for you US folks. Enjoy the US equivalent of Canada Day. May the fireworks not be too excessive, because I know they annoy people. I couldn't care less about this tournament, outside of it bringing in a crowd of rubies for me to kazooks to pickpocket. But while here, I just so happened to learn a thing or two about costumes. Thanks the shopkeeper ain't telling you. You ever wonder why things feel different when you wear a costume? It ain't just people playing along, it's for deeper reasons. And if you come to me while wearing one of them, I'll tell you the secret truth behind it. If I do, will you promise to stay out of trouble? All I'll say is this. It's the only way you'll be able to keep your eye on me. So, have you to learn the secret truth of your current so-called costume role? Sure. That was no dress you put on, Missy. In fact, you fallen into another universe, one where things went very differently. In the year 2000X, you see, Dr. Light created Mega Man to counter the evil ambitions of Dr. Wily, but he failed miserably. So his baby sister had to do it instead, and so she's this world's hero, sweeping up evil with her broom of light. Oh, but where be me armor? I hear you whinging. Do you really want to be doing the same thing as everyone else? In this world, the weakest bot can become the greatest without any fancy powers. Forge your own path in life.
When did Pirate Man turn Irish? I don't know. They're just going with how it's written. And this is the accent that's coming out. I'm just saying. I'm just going with how it's written. That just happens to be what I'm getting from it. Literally Davy Jones.
Oh God!
No! With this music as the lobby music too? No! No!
Please hold. Your call is important to us. We'll be able to get to you as soon as the first available representative is available. Please stay on the line. Your call is important to us. We'll be able to answer your call as soon as the first available representative is available. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. Your call is important to us. We'll be able to answer your call as long as the first available representative becomes available. Please stay on the line, as your time is important to us.
No!
Oh, it's a double element! That's never a good sign! We're Toro Man and Dynamo Man as one! We got a tip from a guy named Severs that there's a trickster token in the warehouse down there. Just immediately follow there. Have fun collecting the token. I got the token! Music's mixed loud again, but I mean, that seems to be almost every track at this point.
I've even turned down the music volume, but from default, and it's still loud.
Well, what's down here? Okay, it's just a loop. Do you want to know how it works now? Fine, good luck!
Oh no! Mr. Frog, what happened to you? You got awfully pudgy! You let yourself go!
Wait, did I just get a magnetize to the... Oh, great, now there's two of them. Hey, guys, it's time for more bosses! Everybody loves bosses, right? Okay, we're in. Oh, hey, look, it's a joke! I don't care if it's a sortie, it's a joke.
Joes are here! The Joes are back! Actually, this was technically the, the guys from Guts Man stage, but close enough!
It's just not quite the same without Chippugetto, 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 Chippugetto. That was a very awkward sounding loot point. I heard that! Bless Laser Trident! Cause all the goddamn enemies are shielded, even hardheads! Yo, what up, Mr. Prong? There's supposed to be a puzzle here, but the creator had no idea how to make a good one. Sorry. Have you tried?
Making an attempt? I don't know.
I mean, you made a puzzle to get here in the first place. A small one, but a puzzle nonetheless. Nah, it's Battle Network 1 through 3, Mr. Prongs, but don't speak in all caps yet. Wait, everybody, look closely at the background and see if it's a 2. Wait, we gotta make sure there's no 2s in there. Of course, it's the second one. Why wouldn't there be more than one in a pit? Well, at least the checkpoint's here. Damn it. Been messing up my slide jumps today already. A lot of creators have been actually putting in some kind of indicator that there's gonna be up and downs. And you know what?
That's something that the official King games could actually stand to have.
The second one in this pit's just a dick move, though. You will get hit by that the first time around. Okay. All right. If that's from an existing game, I don't know what it's from. Ah, yes! On top of the Joes and everything else, we're gonna have, once again, horse beams! Okay, at least they're doing something with these. Alright, more up and down. Up and down to these, huh? Doing Game Boy? Okay. Honestly, now that it does is emphasize the points that the judges like Flashman have been pointing out. It's like, yo, not everybody's gonna know every single gimmick from the series. You gotta still introduce it in a safe way. So this is the split path, right? So if I go this way, we're gonna get the other element. Oh god! Oh god! Out of my way! Out of my way! Out of my way! Just replay the entire level a second time beforehand. Minus infinity, okay.
What reference boss are we getting this time?
Oh, good! Of all the things they went with, they had to go with Surges. The Room Devil! No, is this gonna hit me at some point?
Oh, it's boss! That's a little bit easier than the minus infinity version, I must say. Anyways, let's play the entire fucking level again!
I can't be bothered. Like, starting off with a double boss fight's already pretty bad. But if you're also gonna make you play the level twice, come on! We're just in full I don't give a shit mode right now. Yay! Let's do that whole section again. I tried to go slightly faster. Yeah, squish apparently. The fireworks have already started? God! Yeah, I will definitely agree with that, guys. Like, you may have done a lot of
Questionable things with the level, but at least you only technically ever had to fight one of the bosses if you want everything.
Yeah, playing the entire level twice would definitely be too much for that stage. Yep. I tried to just rush it with water shield, but it's not strong enough to deal with
Shielded enemies!
Here we go again. Yeah, wasn't that exciting, Chad? Now I can actually do the rest of the level. There's apparently an Easter egg this way. What do we got? Oh god, it's full of Mr. Frogs! Wait! What's just...
Why is one of the progs full bad?
The Hive Ming? What? There's a bunch of Mr. Progs gambling. I ain't reading all this. There we go, get the weapon refill. Actual battle network music though. Oh no. Yay. Hey man. Hey, we've done that joke again. Okay, it's Darkman with one extra attack. Wow, that was sure playful to have an additional round. For like 4 rooms involving a different form of sortie and then just Darkman. Hey man, thank you for the tier 3 for 84 months. I'm too sleepy to brain properly right now for a message. Boy, do I feel that! This one's actively losing points for the secondary route because it's
Completely and entirely pointless. It adds an additional 7 or 8 minutes of playtime.
Oh yeah, I always forget to turn this back on. There we go. Yeah, I had a feeling the text got worse from there, Shinryu.
I only read a couple of them and I'm just like, this is really bad. I have a funny feeling the rest of this room is gonna be worse. Oh.
Actually, even less for design. You get a couple of points of design for like the warning for the up and downs, and then the rest is just like, ugh, creativity.
Entire thing's great. Ugh.
And I would have had fun if it was just one route, but unfortunately it's 2.
Fresh meat.
Aesthetics. It's another stage where everything's green. I did like the scrolling background though. That was kind of neat. I like that. Ah! I see what you mean by insensitive! See, 12, 23! Ooh, baby! Oh, hey! Another classic! Alright, while you are actively poking fun at major mistakes, major common mistakes, from past contests. Way to go and make one of them as well. That second round sure was pointful. Definitely worth replaying the entire boring stage that is nothing but shielded enemies and a single gimmick type. Minus like 2 screens of force beam shenanigans. Hot Colin! The kettle black there, bud. How's this level this far up? I don't know. For the level itself, starting off with a double boss fight sure is a choice, especially when making the player play it twice. That will not get tedious. Nope, nope. At least the checkpointing is very good. It is something, no? Oh, the music loop was pretty rough. Very audible. Mr. Prawns were cute to see. They got a little... But, like, there's not a lot to comment on here. It's mostly just Joe's. There's platforms. You shoot, get them into position, and up and downs. There was that one platform, apparently from Mega Man 3 Game Boy, that the player gets introduced to over spikes, so that was fun. Just so many mistakes. I don't really have much to comment on that one. It's like actively frustrating. Like, if you're gonna talk the talk, if you can't walk the walk, it just makes you look like an asshole.
And that is exactly where this one fell.
You can make fun of overused level tropes, but you gotta make sure that you
Don't also fall into the overused level tropes yourself, because then you just look like a dick.
A Battle Network classic level seems no weirder than some of the stuff I've come up with. I mean, network transmission literally exists. I generally enjoyed this level at first. The aesthetic really sold the digital nature, although the binary C can be distracting. And the use of different viruses made me smile. Starting with a fun Pick a Man variant, Cannon Dumb was slightly more useful than Tanahu, and Hardhead made an excellent shield cannon. The level also does reasonably well with its gimmicks. The move hovers give plentiful variety. Guts hover gets some actual time to shine, even if only appeared a grand total of once. Yeah, and it was over death spikes, thanks for that. And the laser conclusion is remarkably fun, particularly the chase sequence. Like, yeah, that one room was pretty alright. Though the sign was unnecessary. Top it off with some decent boss fights, and the level's almost great. Unfortunately, there are some significant sticking points. The less important one is the level intro. I get the idea, but the out-of-computer section felt completely unnecessary. Full Man's Room is the only exception. And I very much didn't appreciate having a two-phase boss before starting the actual level. Yeah, right? I get wanting to introduce hostile programs, but the first sortie was just fine. I don't like having to do a minute and a half of unrelated stuff just to play the level, and it gets tedious on replays. Yeah. Kind of about networking level. I mean, it had about as much aesthetically going on as a lot of the network transmission stages.
let's face it, a lot of the network transmission areas looked kind of dull. But I mean, they were also based often on the first Battle Network game, which is where they were really getting their foot in the door for it, so it also looked kind of dull.
Which leads into the biggest issue. The implementation of multiple elements is awful! Awful, 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 awful! The individual segments are terrible, as I said previously. Both bosses are decent, but having to replay nearly the entire level just to get the second element, that's far too much. I understand the importance of replay value, but forcing it like this is annoying at best and made the second playthrough a complete slog. It's a shame this the level is pretty neat on the first playthrough, but it's not strong enough to sustain the second element, which completely sours the whole experience. Yeah, that's called shooting yourself in the foot. One final comment on the Passville Club token. One of the sorties gets stuck in the wall continuously. It's a bit silly, to say the least. I can't say I was all that thrilled once I got through this level twice in a row, considering the extra energy element. While there's definitely a few positive aspects I can point to here and there, for the most part, I found more issues during my time with it than anything. In terms of actual platforming and enemy/room layouts, there's not too many memorable moments here, barring maybe one or two jumps involving the boom hovers, and exactly one instance of the Guts hover platform. The rest of it revolves around dealing with basic enemy configurations, most of which are shielded. While I appreciate the effort to make the pick-a-man into something less spammy and annoying, the sheer frequency of sortie and hardhead enemies can really bog things down unless you're spamming laser trident everywhere. The plain aesthetic also didn't help much, what with nearly everything being a shade of green. The music choice for the main stage is pretty decent, though I couldn't help but notice it doesn't loop properly. Damn! Yo, Shinryu, we're on the same damn wavelength on this one, it feels like. If anything, the one major thing I can count in this level's favor is the segment with force beams that move back and forth across the ceilings. This is easily the most engaging part of the stage, offering a decent challenge and forcing you to be careful of your positioning. Though not in an overly strict way either. Yeah, it's fairly lenient. The force beam race leading up to the main boss is a bit less threatening, but either way, it's a welcome break compared to what the rest of the stage offers. I certainly enjoyed the position-based challenge there more than I did the sections with the up and downs, some of which are placed in ways that people often cite as examples as to why they dislike that enemy. While there's a telegraph to their presence found in the tiles of the sections they appear in, it's very easy to miss thanks to the color palette practically camouflaging it. That is also true. It also doesn't help that there is one instance of up and downs emerging from spikes rather than pits. You know, I didn't notice that. Lastly, there's the two end bosses. Honestly, I would have preferred it if the split for the bosses occurred earlier in the level, or if there was just one boss. Having to basically go through the whole stage twice for full completion doesn't take too long, but it's still a bit on the tedious side. As for the bosses themselves, well, the core boss is basically a weak imitation of the square machine from Rock Band 4 Minus Infinity, with the dialogue before the fight even implying this is in less than subtle manner. As for the slight dark red edit, I actually found it to be relatively decent. It did take me a moment to figure out the different shot colors indicated whether or not they would home in on you, but beyond that, I didn't really have any major issues with his battle. Homing shots? Wait, were there other bullets that he was firing? Because I just fought him the exact same way as normal Dark Man. Did he just not do some of his attacks? All in all, there's a few good ideas in here, such as the ceiling-mounted force beams and the sortie enemies having the potential to be a better alternative to the Pick-a-Man. I just wish they got a bit more screen time, / were used in more creative ways. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
No, Patchy, no! No!
Humor in this stage doesn't sit well with me. Maybe I'm just becoming a grumpy old man. I won't dwell on that one room in this review since I'm fairly certain other judges will give it a good mouthful. That being said, the stage is overall not bad. The layout's vibrant and neat, the whole Battle Network-inspired aesthetics are also pretty fun, and the reskins are really cute. The move hover usage is quite fine here as well, I'd say. However, I can't say the same thing with the usage of the Guts hover. It's a one-off gimmick not introduced well, and the room is crafted in a way that you'll die experimenting with it. There's a checkpoint right in this room, sure, but it's still not very ideal. The defense system boss at the beginning does way too much contact damage and moves too fast to reasonably avoid it. The fact it's placed right at the beginning of the stage is perhaps what soured the entire experience. Yeah, it is kind of frustrating how often that works, isn't it, Ignitrix?
It's like it's the first thing you try, because for some stupid reason, it works way too often.
Split path right at the end of the stage, making the player pretty much have to replay the whole stage to get the second element is rather annoying, to say the least. Feels like a very arbitrary way to extend the total playtime on an entry. Darkman 4 here is just Darkman 4, but with a damage buff. I guess the color changing is a neat reference to Darkman.exe, given the stage's theming. I can't forgive the dabbing, though.
Wait! There's so many things about this boss I didn't encounter because he sucked! That was taken down as easily as Darkman 4 normally is!
This level has a lot of good ideas, but they never come together to form a fully cohesive whole. I wish I could have been a playtester. Almost every screen has a little something that could be tweaked to improve the challenge or enhance the polish, e.g. enemy positioning, ceiling shadows, the unnecessary teleporter tutorial, and there are oversights that should have been caught in testing. Geez, sloppy music looping, projectiles that ignore break dash invincibility. What? Hard crash if you die to Darkman's barrier attack. What? What?
Man, that's definitely taking a few more points off the functionality. God!
I like the excuse to cross over with Battle Network. The reskinned enemies look like what they're supposed to, the music choice is good, and the scrolling binary going in the background's a nice touch. I especially like the indoor windows toward the end. The theming could go further, though. Battle Network has more interesting locations than repetitive green building, and it has plenty of enemies, e.g. fishy windbox, that could have been adopted from DevKit assets to unify the unfocused enemy/gimmick roster. The NPCs add a lot of character, but their humor is perhaps too dated and referential for its own good. The story is questionable. You fix the computer by destroying the system core. Darkman seems irrelevant to the plot, and he would have made a better token guardian. It's obnoxious to replay almost the entire level to reach the split, where you choose between energy elements. Also, the challenge progression breaks down when you choose his path, conveyors, and text now. On the plus side, the Hunter mini-boss is good. Some of the set introductions are done well, e.g. move hover. And the up and down warning signs are smart. Regularly placed checkpoints balance out instant death, any instant death beginner traps. The laser sprint at the end is creative. Still, there's lots of room for improvement.
I mean, there have been other levels that have caused crashes and whatnot. They just get fixed. That's the long and short of it, is they just get fixed.
I see so many levels putting in pity party signs. Oh, I wanted to do this thing, but ran out of time. Don't! Apologizing for not including something is much more irritating than just not including the thing. It makes it all the more glaring. It does not garner your points or favors, and just feels like making excuses. Hell, half the time the judging player would not even have noticed the stage was lacking the thing until you brought it up. Really doesn't help that the constant Mr. Progs get rather tedious rather quickly, and trying to keep talking to them breaks the flow. Plus, that final large room that's full of the green jits is probably responsible for killing comedy dead as an art form!
Holy shit, Ace! Is it just me, or does Ace get more angry every day? Not that I blame them!
Right, gits. Sorry, I'm not particularly British. I do think this level even starts off on a bad foot with a rather pointless entrance that doesn't match the rest of the stage. I can't even say it's for aesthetics, as it uses two unique gimmicks that never reappear and feel barren. And of course, the most pointless of DevKit boss fights. The actual stage itself has its highlights. The Battle Network enemies are cute, and there are some genuinely fun moments here and there, with some interesting setups. The use of force beams here is novel, and I think the shoot-to-move platforms from the 4th Game Boy gets some pretty good use here. It turns out the move hover enemies can insta-kill via crushing, apparently. I was not aware of that before this level. Me either! It's not what I'd call great, but certainly acceptable and often beyond the bare minimum that you'd expect for a stage with so many gimmicks. But then the fact these only show up for a single room just make the entire stage feel rather disjointed and sloppy. Many of the up and down positionings are just brutal, with the double duo being particularly egregious, and the sheer number of shielded enemies take what is already a level with pacing problems and attach a weight to its legs. Bring Laser Trident!
We're gonna have to, like, compose some sort of ode to Laser Trident by the end of this contest, I swear to God!
That all said, I appreciate there is at least an attempt with the gun wall boss. I gotta say, it doesn't really work, but I can see what you were going for, with some more time and polish placed here rather than actually doing some of the more pointless additions to the stage. It might have ended the stage on a high note. Because one final big complaint with the level, 2 elements that result from a split path at the end of the stage. What? Why? Why did you even bother with the Darkman fight? Seriously! It's such a pointless filler addition to the stage that it just forces the player to play through the stage at least twice, just to face a really mediocre boss. This is an utterly idiotic way to end a level, just really sours the lasting impression and makes its other flaws all the more grating than they actually are. Yes! I'm gonna go with Shinryu because he nailed even more of the things on the head, but...
I think Shinryu and Ace really know what's going on here.
How to be a ladybug robot in a green checkered paradise. The wind in my antenna, the sound of waterfalls, the speed I'd get from rolling down slopes. Better than seeing everything look so blocky, am I right? What the... that's kind of an awkward camera scroll, but okay.
Vlad, what are you supposed to be?
I swear, ever since I found these old costumes, Pug's been very judgmental lately. He thinks he's so cool in that stupid pineapple suit, when clearly Beats are superior. Oh, okay. I have the best costume out of anyone here, and I'll beat up anyone who says otherwise, with Beats!
You too, you Vlad.
Here, woman! And this is by Etherville and Wishy Washy. One element, 5 tokens! Never a good sign!
Oh, good! Fantastic! Oh, wow! Well, we had, like, a couple of stages that were mostly normal. Here we go again!
Headaches or motion sickness, again! Hi. An overeager NPC in this level hints that there might be a costume unlock for defeating a hidden mini-boss. Sorry, but there's no costume. They just got their hopes up. Shame, really, I could have used the costume. Damn! Having to invent a whole new NPC because somebody thought that they could promise something in the compilation game.
When they absolutely couldn't.
I see we're doing this. Okie dokie then. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Chat, I'm out of focus! I'm out of focus, chat! I've lost the focus!
Wiggly! am I gonna get a chance to hit the switch, I wonder? Let's see, I guess I can do that, yeah. Is that a goddamn pony in a bikini? Ugh. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna see if I can just avoid doing anything for... Okay, I actually had to go in. Fine. What even is the vulnerable portion? Okay, it's the ball. I can already tell you, I ain't bothering talking to any more of the NPCs. I'm not too surprised Dave Man looks depressed. I'd be depressed. Okay, that's one of these things. I'm at least fairly familiar with this type of gimmick. I've seen it before. Oh, hey, it's a good thing I coincidentally don't have the blocks on blue, huh? Okay, the up and down version of it's new. The fact that the flamey fake floors are even tiling correctly
It's what makes it especially disorienting.
Of course there's a pause there. I mean, I gotta see what happens if I even flip the wrong way.
Oh, would you look at that?
Question mark? I will say, it's been mostly shielded enemies so far, but at least it hasn't been Joes.
So far, no Joes. We'll see if that changes. Invisible ladder?
Damn it. We hadn't seen one of those in so long, and by seen I mean not seen. It's been a while.
But the invisible ladder's return!
You can see how much the platform tiling correctly throws me off. I should probably just continue to look up top. The music? Nah. Maybe some weapon energy? Nah, just more health. Yeah, the palette's not great, I will admit. Gold and purple is a combination. It's a little clashy, I must say. Yeah, the music's fine. Nah, this time let's not fail basic platforming, alright? Hello, invisible ladder, my old... Oh, Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Compass! Holy... This was all invisible normally? Are you serious?
Guys, it's one secret area. It will increase points, yes, but you have to understand, one secret area is not going to completely remove the score of a level. That looks like a foreground object. It is a funny thing. I'm harsh on the levels, but
Chat's another level above that. Oops.
Oh, that pause! You're supposed to take a screenshot? Man, that's some ARG shit. Interesting, but...
That's pretty far removed from any sort of Mega Man stuff.
An interesting idea, but,
There's a very specific audience for that sort of thing.
not really been very much weapon energy throughout this level, so I've been feeling the need to do it that way. I gotta keep Spark Chaser filled up, or inevitably dying at this checkpoint another 6 times. I mean, the spikes are there to make sure you can't just bullshit it. It would be the best way of putting it. It's like, I get why they're there. I just... yeah. Alright, checkpoint. Oh, hey, it's this guy again. Wait, can I? I'm genuinely curious now if I can just leave. Because, I mean, there's nothing blocking me, man. Can I just... I can get behind him! The reflections are a little bit finicky, as you can see. If you get too close, then they tend to have some malfunctions. Okay, I'm on the other side now, and gravity's reversed. Lalamau, like XT. Alright, so now we're just doing the whole math level backwards and upside down, huh? That's what we're doing? Okay, okay then. Alright, this is where you'd be able to investigate the layout. So you'd come up here, see this invisible ladder, and be all like, there's the layout. Interesting! But, you know, not a lot of people are gonna have the patience for that. I need to hit the switch.
What? What do you mean I jumped? I died off of the other side of the screen! I just jumped! I just jumped to leave the screen! What do you mean I could jump out of the playing area? God damn it!
singular spike hidden by the control area. Wow, why is there a spike there, huh? I mean, it is optional. Oh, you mean like putting it in like on the side HUD? Yeah.
Ah.
Short hop strike again!
It's good thing I have infinite lives.
It's like, okay, maybe I should actually look at the real roll instead of the mirror roll. There we go, got my short hop. The reflections are definitely a bit on the side of janky, to say the least. I'm just gonna... yeah. I know there's only so much you can do, just because, you know, where the buster shots fire from, but it's still a little janky. Was that a W taking? Apparently it was a W, because I didn't get any health from it. Despite the fact that it's upside down, meaning it should have been an M. But oh well, details. Alright, good, I have all the tokens! Just slightly janky, these reflections, a little bit. Little janky.
Just a little wee bit janky.
A little wee bit janky, these reflections. Man, the Mega Man 6 battle theme, you don't hear that one used very often. Yeah, flashing the whole screen, there's a reason why games don't do that anymore. A lot of bullets. You have any idea what I did last time? Get down here. You call that bullets? Them's rookie numbers of bullets. Cool fight though, I liked it. It just needs to not flash the screen, you know? A certain junk-themed Robot Master's console of choice. This portable powerhouse plays it loud. Now you always get the boss unlock and power way into the tier. Yeah, go old glass man. Let's see what that looks like, actually. Why is the room wearing a hat? There's the big old brute himself. I honestly still heavily prefer just one. For one thing, one actually has a border around the screen, which always feels nice. One just gives you the most Super Game Boy feel to it. I love them their Super Game Boy feels. Alright, this one was interesting. Let's see, creativity, I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff in here. Not bad. Got kind of wild with some of the reflections.
You know, functionality's definitely gonna be the biggest hit because there was some significant jank.
I had no right time with it. But yes.
Lots of little issues with functionality kind of build up over time.
And a bit of a hit for aesthetics because it's really hard to tell what's foreground from background sometimes. Which is problematic in a stage where being able to interpret what's going on is very important. And 46. Interesting stage for sure. It does have a number of things bogging it down, but like, the idea is there. I can definitely see this one giving people headaches because of just how much it relies on the reflection gimmick. And the number of different ways it is implemented only furthers this. Also, the token where you are supposed to take a screenshot of a room and bring it to another room is a bit absurd. Like some ARG shit. Probably not the right place for that. Main things then need tidying up is the reflection platforms themselves, as they can be very janky. Many a time I had a shot just go wherever it pleased instead of obeying the laws of mini golf. Shooting from point blank also tends to send the shot in a completely wrong direction, which is problematic because of where the switches end up getting placed at several points throughout the level. This necessitates an awkward
Gotta believe.
stepping back and doing a jump shot to get the correct reflection. But under the time limit of the speed of your shot, if that makes sense, it just feels awkward. Beer Woman herself was a fun fight. Liked quite a bit. Just one issue. I know the classic games enjoyed their full screen light flashes, but there's reason why, as the series went on, those tended to no longer exist. That hurts a lot of people's eyes. Please do not flash the screen. I'm not even going to address the entire side area at the start. That was optimistic at best. Also, the dialogue just goes on and on and on, and it just all sounds like blathering. An interesting idea with some jank and other small issues. I definitely like the music. It fits the mystical theme quite well indeed. Indeed, Beer Woman is a level that makes a solid first impression. The enemy set's all right. Solo O is extremely useful, and Shadow Mega Man emerging from mirrors is a nice touch. That said, there are also spots where it needs work. Mirror Attacker is a fitting enemy, but it's really boring, even for a shield attacker. And while the Whip Tank is a nice enemy, I have absolutely no idea why it's here.
Yeah, it's a good point, honestly.
The gimmicks are similarly alright. Mirrors are the expected choice. And they get a lot of good puzzles. The mirror world is a fun concept, and I appreciate how much it shows up. Yoke blocks are yoke blocks with all the benefits and flaws that apply, and the crash lifts are simple, but their application is interesting and fun. Yeah, there was no Joes! We actually had a level without Joes! We had a level without Joes! Everybody celebrate! Celebrate!
It finally happened! A level without Joes! We didn't even have Mets! There were only shield attackers! There were only shield attackers, no Mets or Joes!
As a whole, it starts out well. Unfortunately, the reverse gravity throws it all off course. I like the idea of trading places with your mirror duplicate and doing the level in reverse. Yeah, shield attackers made some level of sense in the enemy roster, so we can give them a pass. That sounds like a really cool concept. Unfortunately, there's a fine line between fun screwy and frustrating screwy. And stacking reverse gravity on top of Yoku and mirror switch puzzles is absolutely in the latter camp. Combined with one of the most awkward tokens I've seen in a while, y'all are lucky to have the radar, and the level falls flat on its face.
Mick, trust me, I am more thankful for the compass every time I load this game up, because it is the... You just buy the compass, get it first thing, and never look back.
And the boss is enough to salvage it? Well, kind of. Buranai is okay in regular gravity, a little over the top, but nothing major. Buranai in reverse gravity is just plain irritating, easier to line up hits on, but noticeably harder to dodge.
I'm very happy I went behind him and just used magnetic shockwave. It works well.
And the less said about the dev room Buranai, the better. As for Mirror Woman herself, the concepts are fine, and I appreciate that she doesn't have reverse gravity. However, she fires a few too many bullets at once, making dodging it a right pill. They're both okay bosses, but they should get some toning down, and the reverse gravity level desperately needs toning down. Yeah, the compass is one of those things where
I've never taken the damn thing for granted. We're only finding half of these tokens in the game because we have the compass, because so many of them are hidden in very specific spots.
It's always frustrating to come across a level that I have to file under the would-be favorites category. It's the type of stage that I want to like. It certainly has the potential to be good, but it ends up falling short for one reason or another. To be fair, though, this one didn't start off too bad. The room layouts of the first half do, though a bit rough and around the edges at times, especially that narrow Yoku block segment with the shield attacker, are still pretty fun thanks to how the gimmicks are used. The mirror surfaces stuck out to me the most, given it's a simple mechanic with a lot of potential behind it. The same goes for the mirror image rooms, and even though I've been personally overexposed to that type of gimmick thanks to other game series, I still found them pretty enjoyable in the first half of the level. Either way, I was mostly on board with the stage. Up to this point, the only thing I wasn't a fan of were the tiles and their color palettes. When I got near the second half of the level, however, I unfortunately found more things to add to that list. You know what, now that Shinryu points that out, I should probably type that I really didn't like the blend of colors. Alright, and the colors are a bit of a thing. Gold and purple can work, but it all looks very busy in a stage where visual clarity is extremely important to tell what is going on. More than once, I thought a background object was foreground object and jumped to my death. Here we go. First off, the mini-boss. While I really like his concept and design, the actual fight can be very frustrating. The main issue here is that his weak spot is largely covered for most of the battle. While you can sneak in charge shots during his idle phase, you need to be incredibly precise to land a hit. Unless you're abusing Tornado Blow, it takes a good amount of time to beat him. The same especially holds true for fighting him upside down. Yo, we're just gonna go behind him and use Magnetic Shockwave! Speaking of which, for as thematically appropriate as the second half may be, in that it's a reflection of the first half, I really don't think a majority of it needed to be in reversed gravity. Rather than adding on to the main gimmicks, it ends up making things more disorienting as a result. And thankfully, this doesn't extend to the tasks of getting the tokens, save for the heart token. At first, I wasn't even sure if it was possible to obtain without trial and error. As it turns out, the room's layout is actually revealed by the same one in the second half of the level. I could definitely see this being praised as an innovative solution by some, though I personally just found it to be obtuse. Yeah, it's one of those things. In a different context, that would be a neat puzzle. I mean, for heaven's sakes, Kirby pulls that shit. I know Kirby 64 has done it multiple times, Kirby Stream Land 3 did it multiple times. But in this context, with them so far apart, it doesn't work. As for Mirror Woman herself, she's a rather decent fight all around. She doesn't do anything too fancy, but she still manages to put up an engaging fight. The only thing I really had any trouble with was reflecting charge shots into her. I don't know why, but the mirror surfaces seem to act very finicky when it comes to fully charged shots. Hitting the center and the top of the slope seems to reflect them properly. But nearly anywhere else has a 50-50 chance of your shots flying off to the side. In any case, I ended up leaving this stage feeling a bit disappointed. Like I said, there's a lot of potential in the gimmicks, and the more polish this could have with a bit more polish, this could have easily been a far better level and potentially a contender for one of my favorites. Yeah, I can see that. See, double mystical magnificence.
Kachi is very confused and has been thoroughly disoriented.
I get what the stage is going for here, but this is a few too many disoriented gimmicks at once. It'd been fine to just stick with the reflecting projectile mechanic and squeeze in more use out of it, like implementing more puzzle-oriented challenges with its properties. Okay, thank you for the 77 months, getting Jonathan spin a little bit more for us today.
I mean, I think there was quite a few puzzles involving the reflecting surfaces, but that's just me.
The fact of the perplexing gimmicks comboed with a stage that is on the longer side with a total of 5 tokens to search for, I would not recommend replaying this without extended breaks. Yeah, I'm noticing a trend when it comes to 1-element, 5-token stages, huh? A few of the screens can look a bit messy with the graphics clashing with each other, especially with the shines from the glass panes, making it hard to decipher where some of these stage elements are. Unfortunately, the unorthodox nature of the level layout doesn't make it much better. There are also some instances where a block is placed close to the ground near a slope, where it looks like Mega Man could walk through, but it's a little too narrow to do so. Yeah, Anonymous, think that through gets itself going on over to Lemge Gambino, Leafy Chico, and Ristar. Give me Jonathan spitting away. As for getting bombarded by the ever-presence of elevator music. Something weird about the mirrors themselves. If you get too close, the diagonal mirrors don't reflect your bullets as they should. Laser Trident also gets stuck in place and makes some horrendous noise.
Sure does.
Some of the mirror rooms also kind of don't really utilize the mirror gimmick all that much, in which they are literally mirrors and the other side doesn't give out any more information. It's essentially made half the screen redundant in a way. Butter and I, the fortune-telling machine mini-boss, is brutal. At first, I wasn't even sure where his hitbox was because he kept spamming the move where he shoots scaled-up bullets at you, and his hands were in place where the hitbox is, deflecting all my shots. On top of that, he has a boss health bar, and the fight ends up lasting for too long with hard-hitting, hard-to-dodge attacks. Yo, Bukatai, think it was 32 months sitting there just getting us up over to our gamer. Jonathan's getting this workout in for the day. Keep him spinning away, oh yeah! Mirror Woman, in contrast, is much more manageable, except for one attack where she splits into 2 copies of the ground, with the reflection mirror in the middle. I cannot find a reliable way to dodge the mirrored shots at all, while also avoiding shots for the boss herself. I also think it's cool that the diagonal mirror gimmick is incorporated into the boss fight, especially during the last few attacks. The fine boss it was, with a nice aesthetic design too. Yeah. One thing I've learned from participating in these contests is that it's better to focus on a few good ideas than to let unbridled creativity overwhelm a level. This level goes all out with different interpretations of the mirror premise, reflected shots, clones, reversing direction, and that's awesome. But then it keeps piling on gimmicks, enemies, and extras until there's too much to handle, and a lot of potential gets lost along the way. Disorganization is one of the level's key weaknesses. Difficulty progression is all over the place, and gimmick introductions are never as clear or forgiving as they should be. Checkpoint frequency is erratic. The secret teleporters behind the starting point are a disastrous thing for first-time players to discover. Cluttered graphics and crowded architecture make the scenery hard to parse. The mix of texture/colors and lack of negative space turn a nice tile set into an eyesore. And I died more than once on hazards I didn't even realize were there. Polish is another weakness, as demonstrated by custom enemy programming, sprite errors, and some game crashes.
Oh man, more game crashes, huh? Whew. Whew. It keeps happening!
Reflective slopes. For starters, try shooting one with Laser Trident. The mini-boss, inconsistent weapon interactions, the choice of boss projectile, the fight is hectic enough without confusing your buster shots for hers, etc. All the custom sprites are exempt. They look like Capcom sprites, and that's the highest praise I can offer to anyone. Oh, the music's pretty much perfect. But that's as much positivity as I can muster. I can't fathom a buster-only run. Butter and I is an infuriating combination of everything I hate in the mid-boss. Locating and collecting each token feels insulting, not rewarding. Most of all, prolonged exposure to multiple perception-twisting gimmicks, for roughly 30 minutes each playthrough, left me mentally exhausted and physically ill, a shattering combination that reflects poorly on the level. This is close to being a very good level, with a couple of specific areas that drag it down quite a lot. There are several segments of the level that were simply mean, involving tight jumps and missing checkpoints, compounded with quite a lot of instant death. The measurement between checkpoints should not be the number of rooms between them. Looking at your map, this appears to be fine, but the time it takes to get between them and the penalty for failure, often you had to repeat puzzles or areas with waiting, and in one case a lengthy mini-boss, if ever in doubt, and more checkpoints. There's a lot of waiting in the level. You can always count on a spark. Between mini-boss phases, where it's shielded, the solo being invulnerable, and frequent and Yoku block puzzles, the level often loses all sense of flow as you run into these obstacles, even if you have already completed the challenges they bring multiple times. Combining gimmicks is appreciated, but the second half of the level went a bit overboard. Combining reverse gravity, the doppelganger, and Yoku blocks all at once became quite the headache at times. I don't understand why this section was upside down when the mirroring has clearly happened left to right. There are a few rooms in particular which are unfair. The hard token room requires a lot of trial and error, and the mirrored room later on the level does not accurately reflect the dark room. For instance, where's the third mirror?
Wait, are they not even properly copy-pasted? Oh no!
The use of instant death in this room and the lack of a checkpoint here was very punishing. Later on, there's a room where the exit is mostly hidden behind the health bar. The HUD needs taking into consideration when designing levels. Having said all of this, I enjoyed the level quite a lot. The reflection gimmick is a really neat idea with a lot of potential, which I wish had been used a bit more. I wanted to see more puzzles like the final room, combining enemies, mirror blocks, and timing puzzles, but the puzzles we got were well thought out and interesting. I like the idea behind the mini-boss and how the fight goes on, but I think the second was a waste of time, especially as it was invulnerable for a long period of the fight, and one of the attacks couldn't hit the player. The use of RNG wasn't great, as it could reuse attacks that made it impossible to hit without weapons, leading to segments of up to a minute where the player could do nothing but wait. Mirror Woman was a solid, enjoyable fight, though. Some of the attacks were placed in slightly unfair locations. And all that said, for what it's worth, this level was this is a level played when the initial plan was to use a proxy player when playing and was physically impossible for me. Although Yuri and I, in fact, did not like this level. Did that affect the review and scores much? Not really. I'm the judge here, so I would have gotten a reasonably positive score, but you did make some fun score, as at the time I had to rely solely on him for that for the obvious reasons. Just one of those behind the curtain types of things.
Yeah, Laser Trident just happens to be the thing.
They were gonna go flashman on this one. It's like the potential is there. This definitely had like, it's one of those things. This one's less wasted potential and more. The ideas were there. They just needed some extra polishing work, as opposed to just throwing it in the dumpster like, say, Baker Man.
Is anyone out there? You there, do you think you can assist me? I appear to be trapped inside this metal chamber. A pineapple said that an optimal costume for me was stored inside, but when I went to investigate, something pushed me inside. On closer examination, I can conclude that it is empty, but I cannot open the door. How unusual!
As well as the door shut. Now, why would anyone bar the outside of the locker door?
Oh no!
Hang on a second.
Now, why would anyone bar the outside of the bathroom door?
Hang on, let me get the actual original one.
Ah, man, I can't find a good quality version of it.
That's disappointing. Oh no! But yes, I see where this is coming from.
Well, I tried. Looks like they're officially stuck in here. Now, why would someone pull the moon out of its orbit? Working in the rain. Depending on what you're doing, working in the rain can be pleasant. But most of the time, if you're outside, you're probably doing something like pushing carts or like construction work, which is decidedly less fun in the rain. One element, 5 tokens. Here we go again. Okay, yep, it's full on Toadman rain. It's a hammer, Joe. Does it count? Does it count? I get the feeling we'll be seeing other Joes anyway. It does have the name Joe, that is true. You are technically correct. Ow! That one little scrap. Man, the boulder drop is from Drum Band stage, huh? You don't see those very often. Wait, I must acquire my toy. Here's Laser Trident! This guy? Nah, go get him. Whee! Oh. Whee! Yay! I'm sure if you can grab those tokens without some sort of utility. Just the rain's pushing against you pretty hard there. Ah! No, my bolts! Come here. If I'm gonna get affected by rain, this is the direction I prefer. I don't trust this jump. I was.
Holy crap! Did you see the distance on that frog? That frog went flying!
Okay, now we're just getting excessive. Get him out of here. It's definitely a very combat-oriented stage, to say the least. And unfortunately,
Its combat is like 90% Hammer Joe.
press the slide button, and instead I phased through the platform, and then into the pit. Good, good. It's just a combat-oriented stage. Those come and go. Oh, hey, free token.
Don't mind if I do.
Alright, no, this is fine. And it's Toad Man! They've actually made jump every time, pretty much, so... we can't get him stuck quite as much. But Toad Man, it's already raining! Poor Toad Man.
Why did this have to happen? He can't take this anymore.
This poor cutie didn't sell too well. Turns out mold scent is not quite the best unique gimmick they thought it was.
Ew! Ew! Gross! No wonder it didn't sell well. Had to happen. Can't take this anymore.
That's alright. Really just focused on the same couple of things. Joes, Toads, Rain, and the Rock Fallers. You know, combine them a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. I had no right time with this one. A little bit more fun than the previous stage, because, you know, I didn't
get a headache at any point.
Function! I honestly mostly find there's some oddities, like the rain not tiling properly, so there's just some parts where it doesn't exist where it should. Little bits of oddballs like that, but for the most part, it's fine. Aesthetics were unfortunately very boring. Most of it was just solid gray, which, well, not solid, not exactly, you know, solid gray, but very gray. Blocky, not much going on. Alright, what have we got? Yeah, 45. An invincive stage, this one. I get the concept of going for a Toadman-esque stage, but this time themed more around a construction site than a sewer. There was not exactly a lot to talk about with this one. Definitely a very combat-oriented stage, since most of it boils down to Hammer Joes and Toads and the Rock Droppers. The Toadman raid is present throughout, though has some odd tiling issues here and there. I do enjoy being boosted by the rain. Just something inherently fun about going a little faster than you are supposed to. Probably did not need the second mid-boss, especially since it was very close to Toadman himself. Just one of those things where it is a perfectly acceptable level just needed a slight trimming down. And a little more going on than just Joes and Toads.
No! No, Mace! No! That's too close to something else! That's too close to something else!
Oh, this is certainly a decent attempt. The raid is exactly as prevalent as the title suggests, and it works well with the drill bit rocks, which are some of the most effective drill rocks I've seen in a while. Yeah, it worked. Drill. Additionally, the whole rainy construction site concept communicates beautifully with the title, so props for the aesthetic. As for the enemies, Croakers, Hammer Joes, and Hey Hays seem to work well together, creating scenarios where they're occasionally a threat, combined with a fair difficulty curve and a lack of cheap shots. And this doesn't seem terrible. You know, Nick, I see that sleep mask. I'm looking over at mine and I'm like, it's looking tempting.
Yeah, side tangent! I bought a silk sleep mask, right? Because I was getting tired of there being a lot of light in my room because, you know, summertime. And, you know, probably the best purchase I've made in a while. I got something that was a little more expensive, but as a result, it's very comfortable.
And I sleep a lot better as a result. Cool device, too light. However, rainstorms make for a very tedious core gimmick, particularly when it's pushing against you, and the enemy set, while functional, is both relatively bland and especially tedious. The design is definitely decent, but I just found myself bored the entire time I was here. It's a good start, but some more active gimmicks would be much appreciated. For that matter, the 5th token was just completely arbitrary. Why was that even there? 4 tokens is completely acceptable. Yeah, since it's summertime, there's a lot of light that leaks into the room during the hours that I tend to wake up. And without the mask, I was waking up pretty frequently, a couple hours earlier than I want to. But with the mask, I've been able to sleep through it more often. Beyond the above, the other thing to talk about is glitches. This used so much rain that for the first while, the level was crashing into unplayability.
Oh, they had to fix it, I see.
And couldn't be judged. We've obviously fixed that at this point, and being a dev kit asset, that's
Partially on the team, but it left a mark on the functionality score.
Yeah, that's definitely partially on it. Great, can we expect Pokemon sleep streams? Never! I would advise being careful with gimmick usage in the future. Not everything works when it gets used all over the level.
There definitely seems to be some efficiency issues with some of the dev kit assets.
By all accounts, this is a perfectly average level. It didn't do anything amazing, and aside from a few rough spots here and there, it isn't particularly bad either. Yeah, it's very mid. It's a good mid, but very mid. There's nothing too noteworthy about the platforming in this stage, given most of the sections revolve around pretty standard gimmick usage, as far as the rainfall and the rock spawners go. With that being said, it's clear that there was some effort put into a good chunk of the room layouts, as you still need to be mindful of most of your jumps. It's not all that challenging, but it's still just enough to keep your attention throughout most of the segments. On that note, I noticed that the checkpoints of this stage are placed pretty far apart from each other. If anything, I'd say this is the stage's most glaring flaw. Dying essentially means doing more legwork through previous sections than you would in most other levels. Yeah, that's true. Checkpoints aside, the only other issues I have with this level relate to the ending. I get the impression there was either a lack of ideas or time constraints regarding the last token, seeing as while all the other ones required at least some level of effort to obtain, the final one's just sitting in the middle of the boss corridor. Speaking of the boss, while I appreciate trying to spice up a vanilla boss in some way, I don't think it really works here. The added rainfall doesn't really contribute anything to Toad Man's fight, seeing as you can beat him without jumping.
Yeah. Oh, Toad Man.
He has the stigma of being one of the easiest bosses in the series for a reason, after all, and it takes
Takes a lot to make his fight interesting or even remotely difficult for that matter. Oh, Toad Man, you poor soul.
As said before, I don't think all these things make this a bad level. A bit rough around the edges, sure, but it's still a relatively average score. Yeah. Rainy with a chance of frogs. Pretty neat aesthetics of combining the various construction-themed Robot Master tile sets together. That would have probably looked a little less dull with one vibrant color or two to the palette. Yeah, that's the thing. It's all just gray and a little bit of brown. There seems to be an inverse difficulty curve going on here, as it feels like the stage starts hard and then gets easier at the end, at least in terms of enemy placement. Interesting choice of using Hammer Gel and the frog enemies for combat with the rain physics. Definitely makes you second guess about jumping to dodge the hammer while on narrow platforms. The rock dispensers, the initial introduction is decent, but it's not enough as the rocks fall immediately again if you try to lure it initially. Getting out and into the range of the drop again, leading you to get hit and be pummeled by the surprise second rock. I mean, that is how they function in Drill Band stage. It's one of those things a lot of people don't realize. They tend to flash stopper through that section. What you need to do is you need to shoot the boulder when it's coming down originally. Does it make sense? No, but that's how it works. Because if you shoot it, it doesn't spawn again for a bit. But if you just lure it to crash into the floor, it'll immediately spawn again. So, it's a weird gimmick that doesn't even make much sense in its original context. Kind of a rude placement of the Stomper enemy right before the boss gate, after dealing with a rather tricky version of the boulder mini-boss. The boss is just regular Toad Man. Sure, there's rain in the arena now, but you don't need to jump anyway, so
The two of the manip, not enough to spice up the fight. Oh, Toad Man.
Mining /construction site is a fun setting, and the music, while perhaps too obvious a choice, sets a nice tone. At a glance, or if using Rush Jet and Laser trying to plow ahead, it's easy to write off the challenges as tepid variations of things we've seen elsewhere. While that's true of some setups, e.g. climb a ladder, fight a Joe, so much of the level it revolves around deceptively tricky combinations. Joes with hey-hays, a boulder-filled zigzagging platform climb, Stonehead with an uneven floor. Good stuff! I like how each new section starts with a checkpoint and has a distinctive look. I'm a sucker for monochrome. Okay, good to know. And challenge focus and builds on the section before it. With the exception of a frog ambush or two, everything is introduced thoughtfully, especially the rain. I would have liked more interplay between rain and regular backgrounds, both to mess with the player and to break up some long stretches of repetitive but still pleasant aesthetics. A little more standing water, if only as decoration, might also help. I've got a couple of nitpicks regarding architecture, tile work, and exploding mini-boss walls, but I'll devote my word count to the things that limit my enjoyment most. A dearth of power-ups and a handful of seeming easier than before challenges make the level feel one checkpoint longer than it should be. Magna Beam ruins every token challenge except the last one, which ruins itself. I would have swapped out Hammer Joe, overused, for Pickle Bandana. What, Pickle? Is that the actual name? More thematic, comparably tricky. And adjust the boss fight, altering the terrain further or replacing the boss to make the rain more relevant. God, Mega Man enemy names are so weird.
What do you mean, Pickle Bandana?
It may not wow me the way some other levels do, but I respect the premise as well as the subtle creativity and deliberate design that characterize this level. Hammer Joe's the enemy you use when you run out of ideas. It was your first enemy, and over 50% of the enemies were Hammer Joe's. It doesn't help that the other enemies either couldn't be killed or had a huge amount of health. If Laser Trident were not in the engine, this would be an unplayable, boring level. There it is again. This raving around thinking, oh, are they 32 months? Getting Jonathan spin it a little bit more for us today. It's a shame because I think that the level architecture and gimmicks could have been pretty decent, but it's so hard to tell around the enemies that cover the stage. The average checkpoint was around 4 dull, repetitive minutes, and the end of the first section was particularly punishing for this, given that you died if you did not understand the rock falling gimmick immediately. There's not much more to say, as the enemy choice completely killed the stage. Another reiteration that Ace really does not like waiting. I get it. Alright, I'm going with Shinryu on that one.
What the hell? Oh my god! Yo, Centaur Man, how you doing up there, man? Looking good! Are you gate? Hang on, I gotta check that.
Sagittarius. Isn't this golden armor impressive? I feel like a goddess. Strongest knight in this. And for my next trick, I'll make this spill disappear! Pretty nifty, isn't it? It's all thanks to my secret potions. Of course, by potions, I mean detergents. The kind that clean 99% of stains and kill 102% of germs! We don't just kill them germs, we overkill the germs! Oh my, isn't that? It is! Roll! It's been so long since we last saw each other. I'm vaguely aware of these fellows and how uncomfortable they make me. Hey, Anchor, you just lounging on the couch. Oh, eggplant wizard. Oh. You think this is a costume? As if. This is the symbol of a warrior from the depths of the underworld. No, not the eggplant wizard. Their techniques are said to have struck fear in the hearts of their foes, and all were helpless before them. If I can learn this technique, then Mega Man will finally have no chance against me. Well, time for you to go play Kid Icarus there, Anchor. Have fun!
No!
Yeah, it's like, if that's fully accurate, they were one of the most threatening enemies in that game, if I recall correctly. Alright, the Storm Scraper! Ah, we're having some more rain, I see. Hey, Lulu, we have a 25% time penalty. Damn, alright. This one should have been a few tiers higher up. Let's go! 1 and 3, a reasonable number. Oh, God! Hey, motion sickness man, you're back! It keeps happening! Ugh, the judge just made this level skippable because one section near the end is a possible epilepsy hazard. Oh, boy! That section uses the sandstorm gimmick so frequently that it causes rapid screen flickering. Oh, I see. There's no history of epilepsy or migraines. Be warned, chat! If you want a preview of the section in question, go to the room beyond this teleporter. If you have a history with epilepsy or migraines, please skip this level and go left for the elemented tokens. Alright, we're gonna take a look at the demonstration, chat! Oh, Christ, I see what they mean! Yeah! Oh, boy! Oh, boy! Should we head though? We got a good song right now. Words! Fairly obvious token location, that one. Oh, it's one of these challenges. I'm aware of these. I think the big thing there for that one, guys, is that Celestial Woman was more, how shall we say, everything as opposed to just one thing when it comes to the motion sickness issues. You know, when I heard Storm Scraper, I was expecting, you know, rain? Instead, we're getting sand! But, you know, sandstorms are a storm, there is that. Invisible ladder? What do you mean, invisible ladder? This better be an Easter egg. Okay, no, it's just a shortcut you can take. Let's see, what weapons do I not have? Magnetic Shockwave and Spark Chaser. Also no Rush Jet. But I mean, we still have Magnet Beam. Platforms seem properly synced, which is always good. I mean, a sandstorm's still a storm.
That's the important thing to remember here.
Oh god, yeah, it would scrape too. Friction. Yeah, no, that screen's super annoying. Alright, another one of these challenges. What? Bird! Always the birds, man. Every time. Precision. Shit. Didn't go fast enough.
No! My toesies! I was so close.
Yeah, the theming was good. There's a bit of an awkwardness going on with the checkpoint, where the music's kind of skipping a little bit, but other than that. Yeah, why couldn't I have just done that the first time? No hesitation! It's not very good? That makes sense.
Damn it! I'm getting killed for very stupid reasons right now. Chad, watch out! I'm playing bad!
Ah! Wait a minute! It's time! Damn it. I said it's time! Yeah! There we go! I let Ice Wall do a thing! Oh damn, I didn't realize the engine was actually using NSF files. That's genuinely pretty cool. Like, I would have expected it all to be on files. The fact it can even use NSF files at all is genuinely really neat. Even if they are slightly buggy, that saves a ton of file size.
Oh god, here it is, chat! Here it is! Here it is! Avert thy eyes if this bothers you!
I'll try to zip through it as quick as I can. Yeah, F1's pretty normal. It's used in a ton of things, from what I've seen. Wait, is F1 compatible with NSF? Sorry, I'm not braining very well today. Okay, we're through! We're through! No, it's not. Okay, okay. Like I said, sorry. I'm not braining very well. That one bit, that was really fun. I like that stage. It's spicy, especially when he started getting the thin moving platforms in the sandstorm, but like, yeah, that was good. But that one bit was definitely,
Definitely hard on the eyes, oh god.
creativity. I don't think this one had a lot of good gimmicks associated with it. You really got a lot of mileage out of those moving platforms, and they were all synced up well, which is crucially important. Let's see. Yeah, I had fun with this one. I'd say around there-ish. Function, gonna dock a couple of points for the eye-searing sandstorm, but otherwise everything worked perfectly fine. And aesthetics, this stage looked great. It had a nice sort of just sky place going on. It kind of, looked a bit like Gyro Man's stage, but still looked nice. Let's see. 55, 62. Shouldn't about that one section. Because otherwise, the stage is real nice. Lots of interesting puzzles. Platforming puzzles. Derived from the moving platforms and sandstorms. The enemies were tricky, but all manageable. No health sponges here. There was like one Picket Man I really could have done without. But otherwise, yeah, I had a lot of fun. A different take on Gyro Man's arena made him considerably more dangerous. So that's, is always, a nice way to spice up a regular boss as well. The token rooms were a fun mixture of Spike Mayhem and the moving platforms. And we're all tastefully right next to checkpoints. Not really much to complain about. Just a solid, good level. Bright blue skyline, high energy music, lots of. Oh, hey, actually, I should comment on that. Also, that music is a jam. There we go. Lots of precarious platforming. Yep, this is a win stage. Storm Scraper definitely nails the high altitude aesthetic, and it's helped along by respectable design. The end reset is both appropriate and well placed. The grounded ones make excellent breaks in the platforming, although Barrel Rocket's intro feels a little off. And the airborne ones make good opponents during the platforming. But it's the gimmick side of the real star, putting forth plenty of fun concepts for an entertaining level. The core here is the Tomahawk platforms. They're definitely simple, but the level puts them in a lot of interesting use. Yeah, they got a lot of use out of those things. A special mention goes to the horizontal ones, offering a distinct twist on an old soul, and the token challenges were just plain good. On the other end, sandstorms in the sky might be a bit odd, but the level does a good job of that. I'm glad it's here. The props especially for the last room. I felt it struck the right balance between blindness and visibility to create an excellent challenge. It's shame it's a bit hard in the eyes for some. Alas, the same praise can't be said for everything here. The long sandstorm room with both Tomahawk platform types is a lot more challenging than necessary, and for more reasons than disabling Rush Jet. The sandstorm works well with vertical platforms, yes. They're fast, but they don't move on the same plane and thus don't interfere with each other. But the horizontal platforms are on the same plane, meaning their behaviors stack. Combine sandstorms with tiny high-speed platforms, and the end result is frustration from easily falling off. The concept could work with more leeway, but in the current form, it isn't fun. And thankfully, this is a strong win level outside this one room. Not perfect, but what's presented here is pretty good. Keep it up. Yeah, good stuff. All things considered, this is a pretty solid level. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of stages that rely on wind currents, but for the most part, I found this one was pretty decent. One thing I should note about this is that almost all the sandstorms were pushing sandstorms as opposed to, like, trying to push you backwards. They tended to accelerate rather than slow down. And those are just inherently more fun because you can try to ride the sandstorm to go fast and, well...
You have yourself a good time or you fall in the pit. One of the two.
Mega Man's going well, you know. Having a good day today. While combining wind gimmicks and moving platforms isn't exactly a new idea, I think the basic nature of them is more than enough to keep a player engaged. It does make some segments a bit indistinguishable to some extent, but the actual level itself plays out pretty decently. There's some genuinely well-made segments here, mainly the ones where you're traveling with the sandstorms to make otherwise impossible jumps. Enemy placement is also usually pretty thoughtful and complements the room layouts. Although I do feel the Pikmin's placement often makes them more of a nuisance than anything, mainly thanks to the varying amounts of pickaxes they throw out before stopping. Yeah, they're spammy little buggers. All that being said, there's two segments that I do take issue with, those being the sandstorm segment with the vertical platforms and the final lead up to the boss. Firstly, I feel like these sections actually should have been swapped around, since I found the sandstorm plus vertical platform segment to be way more challenging than the actual final section. It's certainly doable, but considering where it is in the stage, it felt like a major spike in difficulty. As for the final segment itself, it just ended up being way too disorienting for me to enjoy. I'm usually not one to get motion sickness from this type of thing, but this segment was really tough to look at, and the sound effect of the sandstorm playing near constantly didn't help much either. Yeah, it's one of those things. I just inherently really like when wind gimmicks are primarily pushing you forward as opposed to pushing into your face. There's just something fun about going faster than you're supposed to. I don't know, it just works.
The human brain feels, ooh, speed fun. We just like going fast. I don't know why, but we do.
Those issues aside, I feel this is a perfectly serviceable stage. The platforming is decent, the aesthetic, and especially the music are good, and I like the general idea of traveling with the sandstorms, something that I feel Commando Man's original stage didn't capitalize much on. It does a bit! I think I did some of that in my no damage runs of Commando Man stage as well, where I travel with the sandstorm.
It's dangerous because you had to avoid up and downs and, you know, met tripping hazards, but it's really fun.
It's just that one difficulty spike in the disorienting ending that mars the level a bit.
As Sam enjoyer Spy Speed Booster gimmicks, agreed? Hell yeah, gotta go fast!
You'd think I was a Sonic kid, but I grew up with Nintendo stuff. Lightbox, thank you for getting yourself over to Glimmed. Jonathan, spin it a little bit more for us today. Cool capes not included. No capes! Etc. Yeah, we got most of the sickness to him, man, again. It is a little bit hard on the eyes, I'll admit, so I understood the warning. Now, this is an application of an established gimmick. Instead of using the sandstorm purely for obstruction, it's more used as a wind burst, either pushing you back or aiding you at jumping across some minor gaps to stormscape, you could say. Quite clever uses of the gimmick. The timing can get a little stingy and trial and error heavy with the one section where you need to ride the sandstorm through various moving platforms with not much opportunity to stop and parse, or else the bird enemies will shoot you off. The side challenges with the tokens are pretty neat, though kind of a missed opportunity to have one centered around the sandstorm gimmick. It's true. Even still, they're pretty creative. I like the first challenge where you need to avoid the platforms from carrying you back up as you try to descend. That final section can get a little eye-straining, though, with the flickering tiles with so many small sandstorms coming by. That might need a bit of a visual adjustment in the final product. I'm not getting excited about this level. I'm on board with the soundtrack. I'm pleasantly surprised to see sandstorms used in a way that doesn't wreck the pacing of the level. I like the horizontal tomahawk platforms. I enjoy the token challenges, which do so much with so little, and which avoid rehashing MAGMML3's Kumaso Temple. I'm thrilled to see the bottomless pits, which are usually taken for granted in a sky level, are properly labeled. Yet there's something keeping my enthusiasm in check, and I can't put my finger on what it is. Maybe it's a matter of challenge finesse, a messy Pickleman screen that... Why are they called Pickleman? That would be better with only one type of tomahawk platform, sandstorms that are never quite timed how I want them, an overzealous final area that would be great if it didn't induce motion sickness, a boss chamber that's begging to include one of the level's gimmicks, or Gyroman's incredible weakness to ice wall. I think it's partially the aesthetics, too. The tile work is excellent, but something about the mix of colors and textures isn't entirely appealing to me. Well, you did say you like monochrome, and this was very vibrant, so I can get it. Was there boss door tiles behind the boss door? A pet peeve of mine. As well as the custom tomahawk platforms completely broke on my first playthrough, with one ramming it into the obvious drill break wall. Another pet peeve. And hilariously forcing it out of alignment. One of my biggest pet peeves is locking weapons instead of designing around them, and for once, I respect that decision. I see that the rationale, and it feels like I'm being challenged rather than unfairly restricted. Yeah, they only picked the specific weapons that would be problematic, and got rid of them. And you keep Rush Coil and Magnet Beam, so I mean, you have all you need. You even have Rush Bike if you want to try to circumvent some of the token challenges. Difficulty progression is good, and the teensiest parts are always right on the edge between fun and stressful. I mean, the tensest. Assets are combined well, there's a lot to like, but I keep thinking about the things that could have been done differently. This stage is proof that with the dev kit being such a varied toolbox, you do not need any new assets to create an original experience. It all comes down to the design of the stage, not what random new crap you can throw at the player.
Ace is always so delightfully blunt.
I initially encountered this stage when I had Lyanna as a proxy player, and I'll say it was as much fun to watch as it was to play. While initially a little confusing, the sandstorm mechanic is used in such a way that enhances the flow of the level as opposed to the original Command Man usage, which forces the player to stop frequently or go at it blind. This is backed up by excellent stage design, which allows the player to go through these sections at their own desired pace. It's clear that each room has been built in such a way that you can clear them with minimal downtime. Each sandstorm is used in a very different way, whilst using consistent rules. Checkpoints are expertly placed, continuing the theme of minimal downtime. The last sandstorm room was a little too busy, but the remainder of the visual design was very clear, such as using thin platforms to signify that you can jump through them. The sandstorm, whilst not fitting the atmosphere perfectly, does make sense from a gameplay perspective, as it does not blend in at all. The music was a great choice, and the tokens were pretty interesting challenges. That all comes down to mostly to how well it all flows together. Excellent work. Yeah, I think I'll go with ace on this one, honestly. Just a pleasant level. Yo, what up, dude? You look like you should be going to fight something in the old Dark Souls land. Third place? My costume's more elaborate than anyone else's, and they say I'm only going to win third place? Do they think I can impress the judges? They can't impress the judges, that I can't scare them? How hard can that be?
Wait, Goombas can't jump!
I hope my costume's good enough to impress the judges. I didn't have much to work with, but I got these sweet shoes. Of course, I don't have feet because I'm a mushroom, so they're staying on with duct tape and hope. Gas, gas, gas! We're going to step on the gas! My professor, star. Okay, yeah, the Paper Mario Goombas can jump. Not the Mario Wonder Goombas, though. Those things can jump about, you know, a couple of inches. 1 element, 5 tokens. Here we go. Oh, it's even the song.
All right, we got a bike stage. Let's do it. Let's do it.
He's trying to say that I can, like... I see! The dash button makes me go faster! Understood! Hang on, this music is way too quiet. Let me just... That's the loudest I can get it! Oops. Yeah, I do need to make it through the entire thing. Yeah, it's still too quiet. That's how quietly it's mixed. I'm gonna have to actually decrease the sound effects of the game to get it the volume balance right. But that's like the loudest I can go. One problem with Rush Bike, or in this case, Tango Bike, they can't jump very well. I tell you, oh, so I did. Beep beep! Beep beep! Beep beep! Beep beep! Beep beep! Beep beep! Oh god! Go, go, go! I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be up top to get a token here. I ran past the token. No, well. We'll get it in a sec. What the?
Ah, you're gonna be crushed by those! Interesting!
I mean, it'd be very fast enough for me to just go get the token. Hang on. It's the problem with the tokens,
They exist, but as a result, they make me completely break my flow to slow down to try to see them.
So I guess it was down there? Yeah, there it is. Don't care! Getting it this way! Oh, my HP! It's disappearing! Ah. It's an awkward thing to steer, I must say.
I haven't been using Rush Bike at all throughout this game, so this is taking some adjusting.
Beep, beep. Ah. It is a little bit weirder than it knocks you off the bike, but there we go.
I'm off the bike, chat! This feels off! I'm on foot! My bike! I crashed it!
I need to get back on my bike right now. Wait a minute. I am allowed to shoot. Let us pursue some shenanigans that I'm not supposed to be able to do. Ah, I'm back on the bike. Very well, very well. God, this thing is really awkward to control in the boss fight.
Oops. Every time I try to go fast, I'm just not allowed.
Yeah, I've always liked that particular Joe. You gotta make sure you're not gonna hit anything, right?
I just want to go top speed so bad, but I'm not allowed.
Beep, beep. Man, those guys are fast. We gotta go. me, babe! I'm trying to go higher speed so often. This is what happens when there's not much penalty for death.
I'm just gonna keep holding down the speed boost button, because I want to go fast, dang it!
Oh, it's really obnoxious trying to get on those. There we go. It's like I want to step on the gas, but I'm not allowed! Alright, we got all the tokens this time. Which means... Oh, there's an E-tank there.
Goal! Now I have to do that whole section again. Probably should have been a checkpoint there.
Good thing for the 33 months spin. That's not Victor, that's Jonathan. Yeah, Rico, how's it going? I mean, I got a hole in one, as far as that pit was concerned. I got birdie that time! Wait, my E-tank! It despawned! What? 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 I feel so cheated! What do you mean by E-tank despawn? What?
Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
That's the fuzz!
This isn't exactly a Mega Man level, but my god, it's filled with charm,
Which does, you know, help.
Also, now the music's too loud again because the
Original music was way too soft.
Alright, I seem to have him in a pattern. Where's the pattern? Ah! Let me fix my volumes.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
is based off a quick man. You can easily just get him when he's facing the platform that time. That's all allowed. It's actually better to fight this off the bike.
Simply because I can turn around faster. Yeah, it's really disappointing how often you're punished for trying to go fast. Like, I get it, I understand. You need to have platforming challenges and whatnot. But damn it! I want to be able to freely let loose a bit more often, you know?
It was doing 2 damage. Since I can't charge my shot and I don't have any other weapons, it makes sense that it was doing extra damage. Certainly an interesting idea. I mean, I had fun with this. I could have had more fun, but I had fun. It done? What done? Let me look. Oh, it done! Looking good, Neil. I shall be using that next time, yes. Excellent. Yeah, Quick Command normally takes 2 damage for the busters. That's just normal anyways. Functionality, everything seemed to be working fine, which is something at a level like this. Maybe 1 point for the audio balancing, but that's about it. Aesthetics, it's Nitro Man stage, but everything was properly tiled. I didn't see anything too glaring. Yeah, that was good. Let's see... 50. My only strong issue with this stage is how little it let me just let loose and go full speed ahead.
Just too many pits! Too many pits to fall into! I just want to go fast, man! Why there gotta be so many potholes? On this road! Who's paying? The road workers! They clearly need more!
That aside, the sheer number of tokens really does force you to slow down. When the stage also wants you to go fast. It is a bit of a conflict of interest. It does make speeding through the sections after finding a token fun, though. Ultimately, I am conflicted. Because the bike stage is fun! It surely is fun. But it could have been more fun. Nevertheless, interesting idea. Not the most Mega Man of gameplay, but neat. Also, the boss gave me a laugh. I was probably, definitely, absolutely going over the speed limit. Though, to be fair, I didn't see no speed limit signs. Is this one of them speed traps I hear so much about? The fuzz is after me. Alright, I should comment. Oh, and please, audio balancing is forever a pet peeve of mine. This song is so good for it to be completely inaudible at default volume
is just a tragedy.
Right from the get-go, this was giving me a mixed impression. On one hand, a rush bike level sounds like a really fun concept. On the other hand, the poor volume balancing on the super quiet music did little for first impressions.
No! All you had to do was increase the volume a little bit. Please, please. On a city. Or, you know, whatever you prefer to use. Wave pad.
For what it's worth, Rush Bike is really fun to use in its element, and as someone who's never used it prior to MAGMML3, I can say the level thought taught me how to use it well. It doesn't really demonstrate how useful Rush Bike can be as a makeshift shield or way to cheese spike drops, but that's a consequence of it needing to be infinite for the level for it to work at all. It's true. Down to the level's credit, it's not bad at first. The initial 3 sections do fun things with cannons, truck jumping, and leaping over spikes. Failing to nab the first or third token can be irritating due to the backtracking afterwards, but that's not a big an issue with Rush Bike's speed and or convenient spikes. Unfortunately, it all goes downhill when Trucker Joe shows up. Sure, Rush Bike is fast, but it's also slippery, and your jump height is also shot dead. It's not designed for use in combat, nor is it designed for precision platforming, making those sections a chore. The bosses in particular are aggravating to the point I usually just left Rush in a corner and blew them up on foot. That also applies to the section just after Trucker Joe, which seems to actively punish the player for using Rush. Yeah, the problem is you can't turn around very well on the bike, so it makes the mini-bosses a pain in the ass. There's safe places to stand for both of them, but it doesn't make for the most exciting of combat. It's one of those things, if you could toggle between Rush Bike and just the regular Buster, it'd be better. That way you can get off the bike when you desire. On a related note, besides the truck jumping, everything in that first truck segment is awkward at best. Their intro does a poor job of conveying when you're supposed to, where you're supposed to go. The little fade to the right is not visible enough to show you're meant to go left. Additionally, the level all but requires memorizing the truck timing to not get blindsided, which can be a problem when they can squash you to death. In general, while the concept is nice, the execution leaves a lot to be desired. A Rush Bike level should play to the utility's strengths, not aggravate its weaknesses. I can't say I came out of this with a newfound appreciation for my doggo cycle.
But my cat scooter's so fast! We gotta step on the gas! Do you like my car?
I actually got pretty excited when I first started playing the level. A stage centered around Rush Bike has a ton of potential in it. Unfortunately, the end result of this one was less than stellar. The biggest problem here is the platforming. Rush Bike isn't exactly the type of utility that goes well with precision jumps, and it definitely shows on this level. Some parts aren't too bad, but there's a few, mainly the ones involving springs, that just feel off with the accelerated movement. There's also an issue with backed advance on how to proceed in a few spots. Do you like my cat? My cat? The room with the first truck, despite being a decent introduction to the enemy, has this problem. There's 2 open paths to the left and right, but going to the right leads to an invisible wall, and you're also likely to be crushed by the truck in the process. There's another part where it looks like you can jump down onto a moving truck from a high platform, but doing so only leads to death. The real way to progress here is to make a jump to another platform, which you can easily miss due to it being at the very edge of the screen. I think it's pretty telling that I found some of these sections to be a lot more manageable by simply not using Rush Bike. The mini-boss and section after it in particular become far easier if you just summon Rush but don't actually get on him. Considering all this, I get the feeling that this stage was made with the intention for you to be on Rush Bike at virtually all times. It would certainly explain why this level's challenge breaks completely in certain spots if you ignore the bike. However, there was actually a way to even further break the stage, as when I first played this level, there was a bug that allowed the player to easily jump over the barrier that's supposed to lock you into the Rush Bite. Though you can't perform this anymore, it did give me some interesting insight on what the level would be like without the weapon lockouts. Aside from that, the only other technical glitch I encountered was with the music. While I appreciate the song choice, I can't really ignore the fact that it doesn't loop properly, and that it's really quiet. Please, please, Audacity, or Wavepad, whatever, please, I'm begging you. Honestly, I almost preferred the stage with access to the other weapons. It certainly made the boss a lot easier. While I did get a chuckle out of his intro, I can't say I enjoyed the actual fight as much. He tends to go off screen a lot, which means a lot of chasing him down. Rush Bike's 2 bullet per screen limit also makes hitting him a bit of a pain. Especially given his frequent jumping, I could easily see him and the rest of the stage being more fun with a lot more polish, though. Yeah, it's a good idea. Rough execution. I've been in this place before. We're gonna have so many jokes by this one song by the time we get through all these. Well, we all saw this coming, the obligatory rush bike level. It sounds exciting, sure, but the stage definitely has its issues. Here it emphasizes that you should go fast with its initial D references, except ironically, you really want to play this one slow, and not to be on the bike half the time. Yeah, that's the problem. If you just go fast, you can't see the obstacles coming your way, and you also take plenty of contact damage from the enemies while doing so. Different from normal behavior where you'd be invincible while on the bike. There would have probably been more of an incentive to go vroom vroom fast if the enemies take the contact damage instead while the player is going full speed. Oh man, that would have been really fun! Some straight up pizza tower shit! Expect platforming through death pits and spikes a lot, as well as the threat of being crushed by oncoming traffic, while also having a weaker jump and less air control while in the bike. Going fast is simply ill-advised, despite it being the literal gimmick of the entry. Kinda counterintuitive, don't you agree? I thought it might have been only a me thing when it came to this, but it looks like it's every judge that's finding the counterintuitive nature. To make a rush bike only stage work, you'd probably have to change the fundamentals of the level design more. Not just build it like a regular Mega Man level and slap an arbitrary use only this challenge over it. The slippery control of the bike also made the boss fight not that great of a time, so that I had to resort to doing it on foot as well, where then the dynamic of the fight becomes not accidentally getting on rush while dodging Fake Man's attacks. Either way, you go out fighting the boss, it's definitely maximum awkwardness. Music is also too quiet during the boss compared to the stage, asking for a slight annoyance adjusting the music volume in between. I think Patchy got that backwards. Oh right, Pizza Town Cave. Sorry, I forgot about the actual, time difference between those two things. I'm glad someone made a level emphasizing Rush Bike. I'm sad it turned out like this. Oh. Races, chases, escape sequences, these are what I wanted to see. I want rhythm-based platforming where pattern memorization is more important than lightning reflexes. I want forgiving challenges that turn the player to be an expert cyclist before demanding do-or-die precision. The intersection and the parts where you jump onto a hilariously bouncy bus sort of deliver what I want, but the level as a whole doesn't feel like a carefully crafted celebration of this unique ability. It feels like a normal level where you're stuck with Rush Bike. Only 2 parts of the entire level require Rush Bike to proceed. It's possible and even preferable to tackle everything else on foot, awkwardly summoning Rush while trying to shoot. The mini-boss, for example, is the perfect height to be hit from a standing position which makes for a fun and strategic fight. On Rush Bike, you need to jump to reach the weak spot, and that gets messy quickly. A lot of fiddly platforming is easier and more fun without the bike too, such as the outdoor springs plus bombs section. I do like the sense of structure in the level's lengthy layout, and it's good that you can't possibly skip the weapon pickups after teleporting in. I appreciate the tutorial sign at the beginning. I wish there were health refills between checkpoints. Some speed limit signs in the background earlier would have heightened the comedic impact of the boss intro, right? Right? Quality sound clip choice, by the way. Stop! You violated the law! Oh, and the boss! Too fast, too furious for Rush Bike to handle. Hiding under a ledge the whole time and having a stockpile of E-tanks seems like the only viable strategy. Exhausting gameplay, obnoxious tokens, good music with improperly balanced volume, nice graphics. The stage clicks, it really clicks. When it all plays smoothly and the player and bike become one, it rules. And I think it has some genuinely well-designed and fun challenge segments, even if I had a tad on the difficult side. I also think it does a really good job utilizing Nitro Man's tile set. It's all rather pretty and proof that you can make dev kit tile sets look great. Tiles that get used in new ways, such as the jumping through platforms, are understood by the player almost immediately thanks to clever introductions. And even though this is a rather minor thing, I really appreciate how well constructed the checkpoints are. You're not skipping stage gimmicks, no sir. I also didn't mind most of the trickster tokens. They're hard, sure, but mostly fair. I think the first one's a bit too hard and precise thanks to the control issues I'll mention shortly. Because there are quite a few issues that hold me back from truly enjoying this level. For example, there's some weird interactions with the Nitro Man trucks, often resulting in inexplicable instant death as it crushes you against a wall or ceiling or floor.
Glad I didn't actually run into any of that.
It makes sense in a vacuum, but given how Nitro Man trucks usually act, it seems off to a Mega Man player. This unfortunately affects the introduction to the fact that the trucks combine with springs, making it a very deadly way to introduce the gimmick of the stage. The dev kit does feature a soft crushing feature, which could have been enabled for these custom trucks. But a lot of my issues really stem from just how awkward Rush Bike is to control, combined with the sheer precision the stage requires. The stage introduces the player to the Rush Bike's boost function right at the start, but I always found that trying to use it was somewhat suicidal thanks to Rush Bike's hitbox dissonance, which granted is the fault of the dev team. It still means the player will occasionally not make jumps it looks like they should as they clip through. If the stage uses less precision in its platforming to account for Rush Bike, I think the feeling that you get when the stage does gel could have been throughout. The absolute low point of the stage for me was the boss fight against Fake Man. Rush Bike is not a fun boss make. Its impaired jump, delayed turn, and movement, combined with just how fast the boss moves and its predictable but very erratic pattern, makes it dodge and crapshoot. In the end, I found this boss so frustrating thanks to Rush Bike. Outside of tanking hits and damage racing him, I found the only real way to best him was to pattern lock his AI and get Fake Man to bonk on the wall repeatedly on the right. I think the music choice of the stage to the fight suggested a much better alternative to me. Why not just go full on Sonic CD and make it a race? Boss battles do not always have to be a literal battle. Work to your stage's core strengths rather than forcing in the Mega Man tropes that will ultimately hurt it. Yeah, it's one of those things, when you're making a stage that's already infinite Rush Bike, you've already kind of thrown the Mega Man formula out the window, so
You might as well just go further. It's like at that point, the formula's gone. You might as well just keep going.
Flashman. Yeah, soft crushing. What that means is that you can get squashed against like a ceiling or whatnot, and instead of killing you, it will just do a bunch of damage and you'll get shoved off the platform that you were standing on. That occurs in a lot of different Mega Man games. I keep seeing him. I still don't understand his symbols.
No? Okay, the flaily sprite is amazing. Element Man! Element Man, please! I'm trying to understand, but I can't! Yes?
I didn't feel like climbing that long ladder. It took a shortcut, for I am Magneto, master of magnetism. That said, I can't seem to get down. I blame that simulation down there. It must be making my magnetism too strong. Oh well, at least I don't have to worry about losing this helmet, even if it doesn't fit me. Oh. Sparks and sockets by an absolute loser. Very encouraging username. One and one! I haven't seen this combo in a while. Alright, let's go! That's a dev box! That's a dev box! What up? Note from the MAGMML3 dev team. This level was submitted with a bugged object that constantly makes the player moonwalk. Since it would severely alter the level from how it was judged to fix it, the bug has been left in.
Interesting. Alright! Alright, put on your shoes! Get ready to be extra smooth, I guess. Okay, I'm moonwalking again. Wait, is it just these? It looks to be just this type of platform. Okay, sure. It's not a bug, it's a feature. What the? Oh God! Oh jeez. Okay, so it's always facing to the right. This is gonna get real awkward real fast.
Hey, don't be blaming the nerfs!
This is 100% on the level author.
Speed gear! Gosh!
It just kind of happens in set spots. Oh God. That's really weird. That's really weird.
Damn it. I've been falling in a lot of pits today. It keeps happening. I mean, these guys aren't technically Joes. They're just similar to Joes. Okay, I'm moonwalking, but I do still fire in the direction I'm supposed to.
Oh, that's even more confusing.
I can't slide, though. I can slide forward, but I can't slide back. Can't lose now.
This is so weird. Help! How did that not come up in their testing? And I ain't talking about the devs, I'm talking about the level author. Because it obviously came up in the devs in testing.
It was a last minute change, that would do it! I tell you one thing, it makes it memorable!
Let's see, what can I destroy these with? Shockwave, maybe? Oh, it's Ice Wall, right, Ice Wall. No? Nope. Break Dash?
Break Dash! Now, there's probably a challenge I'm supposed to do here, but... I can also just... Yoink! Bolt Connoisseur! I got a new costume for that one.
I will put it this way. The glitch is giving me a good laugh at least. Oh God! The speed! Whoa! Well, at least the barrier stays destroyed, I guess.
Was that a very unexpected
Teleport is what that was.
Oh God, here we go again! Speed! Quick man, what are you doing here? My sense of pride was broken after I was defeated. But hearing a rumor about a device finally worked on which increased the speed of robots dramatically. I took up the opportunity to find and upgrade myself.
Then so I could become even faster! I doubt you could even impact me with a single shot while using this!
Maybe?
Spark Chaser! Spark Chaser, I'm not the enemy Spark Chaser! What do you mean?
It looks like this is a survival battle?
I think he's hurting himself bashing into walls. Well, I think he overdid his speed gear a little bit. He burned out too much. Whee! Whee! Look at the speed on that slide especially. Holy shit. I think I'm moving faster than Rush Bike was.
I see Rush Bike is disabled in this stage.
Gee, I wonder why. I can only imagine how those two would have interacted. We're going very fast today, it seems. That's alright. A little weird, but not bad.
Let's see, creativity. I mean,
the bug was very unintentional.
most of the gimmicks though, yeah, it was neat to see speed gear, even if it was a different version of it than the actual Mega Man 11 version. Actual speed as opposed to just slowing things down, thus, you're technically going fast here type of thing. Yeah, double gear was noted in Mega Man 11 to be pretty hard on the system, so that makes sense. Let's see, a little this, and fun. I mean, I had fun with it. What can I say? I'm a sucker for going fast. Function!
Well, yeah, that's where it suffers.
Aesthetics. It was perfectly pleasant, very blue. It was another stage that had a kind of Mega Man 9-esque look to it. The 44. Oh, that bug is unfortunate. It is really oddly funny, though. And kinda accidentally added a memorability to this that would otherwise be a bit lost. The speed gear stuff is neat, though. Also kind of funny seeing speed gear operate like how enemies would see Mega Man moving instead of the actual implementation for Mega Man 11, where it goes the whole slowing down time to have the illusion of faster thing. I honestly kind of prefer this one, even if it is more unwieldy. Aesthetics are perfectly pleasing, if a little bland. Has a very Mega Man 9 feel to it. The barriers that you destroy, Sting destroyed on the next life, was also a surprising mercy. There was a teleport that happened very suddenly at one point that absolutely got me killed, though. Speed Gear Quick Man is like some sort of nightmare demon. In concept, but thankfully, he was not that bad. Seems to be a survival battle? Makes sense, since Double Gear does very much burn out the user over time. Decent enough level. I did enjoy. I tried to perfect run that. Yeah, the boss fight would be problematic. I mean, he's probably less ridiculous than regular Quickman, because he actually seems to have, like, a pattern. But it is a lot of Quickman at the same time, one with the occupying 2 spaces at once with his speed. I wish I liked this level, really. It has a lot of good stuff to it. The speed gear segments are fun and distinct, a good reference to Mega Man 11. The Sparkwave and Garyovian sections are an excellent breather. Barrier Destroyer is a cute mechanic, the level's design intent is solid, and the custom enemies are entertaining to deal with. The bosses are also fun. Convoluid is always a treat, and I enjoy the electric twists he gets. Meanwhile, Speed Gear Quickman is one of the best survival bosses I've fought in a while. Yeah, he doesn't go on too long, the patterns are mostly avoidable. It's just those two alone fix a lot of problems with survival bosses. If that's all there was to the level, that'd be great. However, something about the level completely breaks Mega Man's movement. I have no idea what, but something forces him to face specific directions at several intervals. This makes some enemies nigh undodgeable since you can't slide backwards, and it makes the level extremely awkward to play since I never know when something will force me to moonwalk. Yo, that'd be a horrible existence. Just think about that for a second, chat. You're just going about your business, and at complete random, you won't be able to turn around. If you want to back up, you have to moonwalk. You gotta get out those slippery shoes and start sliding backwards. It's like, crap, I just want to get to my chair, but now I have to do this awkward backwards walking nonsense. I want to like this place, and there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but whatever it was that broke comes to a massive cost. Completely derailing this place. It's not broken to the point of being unplayable, but broken is broken, and I'll call it what it is. Why must you make me suffer? I'm sorry! It's just, it came to mind. New crowd control effect. Can't turn around. I was really struggling to review this stage for the longest time. Not because I had trouble forming an opinion on it, but because my first time through it, I honestly couldn't tell whether or not certain things were intentional or technical oversights, of which this level has several. No matter what way you look at it, though, this stage is very unstable. From suddenly moonwalking for no reason to a hard crash at one point after picking up the second speed gear. Ooh. This tier is the tier that crashed the game, it seems. They significantly impacted my enjoyment with this stage, which is a bit of a shame since it would otherwise be a pretty decent, if slightly generic stage. When it wants to work, the platformer here can be fun. The token challenge in particular is really nicely laid out, and I kind of wish there were more moments like that throughout the level. As far as the speed gear sections, I'm honestly not the biggest fan of these. Besides, there are only being 3 of them, you can mostly ignore the timer and breeze through these segments with minimum effort. For the second one, however, I feel like I must be missing something here because I have no idea how you're meant to get to the next room without dying. At least without using Magna Beam. It definitely seems like there should have been something else in that room to help you get to the exit after picking up the speed gear, given how wide open it is. Yeah, I guess the weird sudden teleport didn't trigger for Shinryu then. Either that or was added after the fact? Thankfully, the stage ends on a more positive note with the Quickman endurance battle. I like the idea of outlasting him with both he and the player have access to speed gear, though it can be a little hectic towards the end once he spawns a copy of himself. That aside, I think that fight ultimately did help the stage out quite a bit, though not really enough to offset the prior issues and bugs mentioned before. If those were fixed up, I could see this turning out to be a fantastic level. Mach 5, but not quite. This feels more like an experiment stage with the not-so-frequent use of the speed gear and the weird signs that remove barrier blocks. Not sure what's with the moonwalking on occasion, it seems to just kick in without warning. Doesn't feel like an intended behavior. Yeah. It's neat, I guess, with the few times that you get to play with the speed gear. But the buggy behavior makes going through the stage really awkward and somewhat unintuitive. I do like the tile set used here, pretty well drawn, though I don't know if I entirely agree about making everything the same tone of blue. That's kind of why I called it a Mega Man 9-esque level, because you get stages like Plug Man that are just green, 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 green. It gives me that same sort of feeling. There was kind of a fight at the end, if you can call it that, with the ultra-speed upgraded Quickman, who is invulnerable but also has his health drained constantly. More of an endurance fight, not too bad as a concept. I guess that summarizes the stage pretty nicely. It's all a proof of concept. Bizarre design decisions, a messy challenge progression, and incredible playtesting oversights short-circuit what could have been an electrifying level.
Damn it, Flashman! Just take this!
The beginning of my first playthrough was a disaster, dropping in from the ceiling with a checkpoint reached notification. I'm being thrown into challenges that feel more appropriate for the middle of the challenge arc. I was convinced I had somehow missed the first part of the level. My mistrust of the level's stability was reinforced by Mega Man spontaneously moonwalking. And unlike the Mega Man 2 game GD code I love so much,
The unpredictability and functional inconsistencies of suddenly facing the other direction are irritatingly disruptive.
pass-through platforms threw me off. I like the idea of having different types that are only solid for specific objects, but they go from noteworthy gimmicks to basically irrelevant after just one screen. It wasn't long before I encountered my first speed gear, which I was excited to find. My excitement perished in a bottomless pit a half-second later. Please take the time to develop new concepts in gradual fashion. There's a lot I like, but many of the good points come with caveats. The graphics are polished and professional. I just wish the spikes were a different color so they popped more. The music fits, but the main theme is repetitive, and the boss theme should have been a jazzed-up remix/cover to fit the feel of the fight. The boss fight is interesting, but maybe a smidge too difficult, and I wish the cutscene displayed Quickman's portrait. It showed you receiving a speed gear, and didn't repeat on retry. Yeah, that's all valid. I couldn't nitpick the architecture and skippable speed gears, but I should conclude with what this level does right. Appropriate length, great checkpoint placement, cohesive theming, meaningful mini-boss, and lots of good ideas that translate well into tricky platforming, with an occasional puzzle bent to that I greatly enjoy. Yeah, that's a great summary. Ouch, so something went wrong here, didn't it? The player's direction and ability to slide get locked at sheer random, making the entire affair a confusing fun. But that said, I think there's a good level under all this garbage. Fire up a code blunder. Since even with it being barely playable at times, I still rather enjoyed it when it worked. I wish there was just more of it. With more elaborate setups, especially the gear gimmick. So cool, so underutilized. I'm guessing this is what broke the level. Even then, I didn't encounter soft locks, which I guess is a lucky break. Other positives here, it's a nice looking level, somewhat generic, but still very nice. I think the added details and reworked dev kit enemies help it out nicely. It's a shame the music was just honestly pretty annoying, especially early in the loop. Well, I know why. So Quickman and Fireman both have this, like, percussive noise in it that goes It uses that instrument in it, and that just seems to add a level of annoyance to a lot of songs. And whilst it's all well drawn, certain situations like jump through or fall through platforms are incredibly hard to parse due to how they're designed. The mechanics are taught well enough too, which is good. You don't want to make things even more confusing. I'm not too fond of the Berry rework, made by Game Boy Humanoid Electric Enemy, mostly due to them being positioned in some rather obnoxious positions. But the real irritant here is probably the Garyobi, the almost invulnerable buzzsaw. There are definitely times, especially fighting the controls, where these gits are just too in the way. Even during the speed segments, there's little room to maneuver around them. That said, the other little changes gel, and reusing the projectile Beer Spark, another Mega Man 5 Game Boy Electric enemy. It's one of those obvious in hindsight that I'm surprised I didn't see it more often in the contest. The Quickman fight started strong. I don't mind the idea of waiting him out instead of blasting him, and it's a nice callback to his weakness in Mega Man 2. But in the end, got rather messy. It's super easy to desync the twin Quickman by just standing in the wrong place, and what was once obvious tells becomes too little when you have to split your attention between the two of the prats. I think my main issue with the stage, outside of the obvious incredibly held together with tame nature of it, is that it really didn't feel like it built up to anything. The final room was so easy and the short that running into the boss door felt way too soon. I'm gonna go Flashman again on this one.
I think it was a good length.
Yeah, hands off, partner. I ain't no concern. I ain't no concern hat left by the wayside. I'm a genuine cowboy. I was supposed to be helping out at the jailhouse, but some darn fool wore me as a hat while I was snoozing on the bus. I really need to get myself a proper horse so this don't happen again. I just need to figure out how to ride one. Yeah, it might be a little bit difficult without arms. What the? Hey, your old costume needs work. It looks like nothing like me. Really? I think it looks pretty accurate. Hey, wait a minute. You can't be the real role either. Just who are you?
I am the real role, and I don't appreciate people trying to imitate me with cheap knockoffs.
Why don't you get rid of that stupid costume and admit who you really are?
To yourself, if no one else.
Jeez, I'm just pretending to be someone else for fun. You don't have to ruin people's immersion like a jerk. And besides, you're one to talk, insisting you're someone you aren't. Oh yes? Well, even if I wasn't the real role, there's no way you can prove it. Certainly not by unmasking me. How would you even do that?
Damn it, Darkman!
Okay, maybe I had that coming, but I didn't think you'd actually shoot my costume. I found you, faker! Do you know how hard it is to get those things looking good? Especially for those spinning platforms? I didn't have, like, the obvious bad Proto-Man whistle to go by this time. Wonder if that switch does anything. Yo, Wario, what's up? Oh, did I even set on fire? This happens a lot.
He's fine. He's fine, Chad. Everything's okay. He's perfectly fine.
Lost Caverns of Jungata. By Lizard Commando. Alright, this is probably gonna be the last one for today, and we got one element, 4 tokens. Let's go!
Yay! I can move properly again!
Also, this is straight from Rockman Constancy. I'm all for it. Let's go! Didn't we have another version of this exact song earlier in the contest?
And now it's the actual Rockmando Constancy one, which is a really good cover of Esperanto.
Joes. There's something oddly kind of laggy about the screen scroll in this section. Yeah, this is a really good version of it.
This is admittedly how I first heard this song.
And I was like, wow, this song's really good. What's it from? And then it's like, oh, it's Mega Man Zero. Okay. 'Cause I don't think I had played 4 at the time. I mean, this one's kind of neat because, you know, it's a Joe, but it doesn't have a shield. Yeah, I probably would have finished 04, but I was just kind of exhausted with the games by then. It's one of those things, I bet I'd like it more if I played it again. yeah, like I said, I probably would like it more if I played it again.
The monkey tank! What did they do to the monkey tank? It's so goofy looking. Oh, it's beautiful. It's the monkey tanks from Plant Man stage from Mega Man 6. Except it's a weird lizard thing now. I mean, it makes sense considering the author name. So goofy.
Oh, I love dorky little sprite replacements. Whole alternate power route for this token, huh? Okie dokie. Oh, hey, we haven't seen very many of these.
Yeah, it did kind of look like Reptar, didn't it?
Oh, hey, it's this guy in his natural habitat. Not so much a mod as a fan game. It's a compilation of various levels for a contest to try to make a good Mega Man level. Filthy bats! Still a very enemy-oriented stage, but there are some various platforming gimmicks mixed in. Wait, are you fighting with Proto Man's pattern? Yeah, looks like the tokens are each on their own split path, so let me get back in there! Did I just walk right past the token again? Did it happen? Hang on! Time to go fast! Yeah, the music balance isn't perfect, but it's a lot closer than a lot of them. It's right near the end. Damn it.
It keeps happening.
I mean, this place is gonna see the other path, so it's not all that bad. Damn it. Tried to go fast. I'm trying so hard to get away with break dash, but it's not gonna work on you, Laser Trident instead. By the way, weapon set in this contest very good, as you can see.
You hit the one gap. Damn it.
No, my shield! Let's try this other way. Iso has its moments, but it's definitely outclassed by everything else in the weapon set. It's certainly no, like, Thunderwolf or Super Arm or anything else that's extremely situational. No! I mean, that's pretty much the end of it right there. I mean, it's also good for dropping on enemies below you. Which is something I've been using it decently often for. And occasionally you'll find people that are spicing things up on the old ice wall by using it to block things like lasers. These platforms are not syncing up particularly well. I forgot what changed! I forget what changes they made to Thunderwolf in Mega Man 1. But I'm talking base Mega Man 10 Thunderwolf was really bad. I'm just gonna skip ahead. Okay, and that's where it meets up. Good to know! So if you want to get all the tokens, you do have to go left. You put the ladder at that point, but either way.
The lower section's definitely a lot easier.
Okay. That was pretty alright stage. Let's see, creativity. I didn't really do a ton, but I mean, it was nice. Fun. Yeah, I enjoyed this stage. A perfectly pleasant romp. Function? Yeah. Everything worked just fine. I didn't see any issues. And aesthetics, it was mostly Napalm Man stage, but hey, everything looked like it was tiled mostly alright. Perfectly good. Maybe 3. We're getting into the case now where I'm getting more and more levels that are ranked over 50. So it makes sense, we're about halfway through and we're getting levels of about that quality. Darkman! What have I need to tell you about that costume? Get! What do you mean I gotta talk to him again to get rid of it? There! A simple level, but a fun one. Mostly a tricky little romp through a Napalm Man-esque stage. They can incorporate into some good enemy use and some crafty use of the Crash Fan platforms. All makes for a good time, with enough to keep the player engaged, to not result in an unfortunate trip down a pit. The enemy roster having a Joe, but not overusing said Joe, is also greatly appreciated. only shows up a couple of times, and none of which are super frustrating. The fact you can reach the last token, even if you took the alternate path on a first playthrough, is very appreciated, as it prevents needlessly having to play the stage twice, as long as you platform good. I failed to notice it on my end on that first play, but still, the fact you can shows consideration for the player's time, and I really appreciate that. What was the name of the boss again? Actually, I cannot quite put my finger on what pattern this boss is using. It reminds me most of, like, Proto Man from Mega Man 7. Also, a bit of Pharaoh Man DNA in there. But the jumps are less erratic and more predictable, which is nice. Overall, yeah, just a pleasant, good Mega Man level. I like these a lot. Alright, what we got? So, is there some reference here that I'm not getting? Or is Jungata just not really a thing? Either way, this is an okay level with fairly inoffensive design. It makes decent use of its various cannon-based enemies, has some pretty neat crash lifts, and was cool to see the beach submarine on the alternate path. It also has some decent Joe lookalikes. The regular one makes a decent obstacle, and while fighting it head-on can be a pain, I appreciate that the blue one is more challenging than a typical Sniper Joe. Unfortunately, between the militaristic enemy set, the aesthetic, and the use of gimmicks like waterfalls, Gata feels like less like its own thing and more like a Napalm Man 2.0. It didn't have the interior section of Napalm Man, but yeah, it's very, very Napalm Man-esque. At least it doesn't have the tigers and Apache Joes. This is a bit of a weakness. The lack of significant personal identity means Gata fails to leave an impression. Yes. Wait a minute, Jungata. Is it just a slightly altered version of Zack's home? Place of home? Me? Jungata. And while the crash lift sections are of some interest, though I wish they got more time without waterfalls, the combat sections and the jet ski feel very standard with no real interest. This level is still inoffensive, but it's also very unmemorable. For future levels, I would advise something that feels less derivative. Yeah. Pretty much it. It's a perfectly pleasant level that's not the most memorable thing. Is the level maker's RPG setting according to the wiki. From their Doom mods. Ah! A fellow enjoyer of making Doom content, I see. This is the level that, at first, I didn't really have a strong opinion on one way or the other. There's nothing outstanding here, but it's also relatively inoffensive, at least until about 1 or 2 minutes in. Starting off, the platforming / enemy placements are all pretty basic, barring a few questionable things here and there. The introductions to the Machine Gun Joe reskins could have been a bit better, plus there's one Baton during the first waterfall section that could easily catch you off guard and lead to a cheap death, seeing as he shows up right next to a Shadow Man platform. Those aside, however, I didn't have any other issues with the opening of the level, at least until I got to the spike drop. For the record, I didn't have a problem with the spike drop itself. It's very easy, in fact. What I do take issue with, however, is putting a small side room with a token in it during the segment, and then putting a checkpoint at the end so you can't quickly redo it. Thankfully, it doesn't take that long to get back to that specific part, but even so, going through the opening section again just for another chance at the token room is still pretty tedious. Yeah, that one stands out especially considering the situation with the last token in the level, where it actually does respect the player's time and lets you go get it, even if you took the alternative path. So that one just feels kind of like a fumble that was more of an oversight, rather than malicious design. Unfortunately, the issues with tokens in this level don't stop there. The 2 remaining ones are on split paths, both with checkpoints at the start of them. I get this is probably meant to introduce replay value, but I still dislike the notion of having to redo a large portion of the level just to go down one path for a single collectible. Granted, you can bypass this altogether if you take the bottom route with the Wave Rider segment, then backtrack a little to get the other token once the path converges. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but either way, it cuts down on a lot of the backtracking. It felt intentional. And really, that's all the notable stuff I can think of for this level. What remains after the tokens are pretty standard platforming challenges, with maybe the exception of the waterfall/Crashman platform segment, which I actually found pretty engaging without utilities. If there were more sections like that, I definitely think this level would have fared better. Instead, the token routes and the potential tedious backtracking, they represent largely overshadowed the rest of the stage for me. Relic of Past Civilization! Pretty straightforward level, a little bit generic as far as gimmicks go with the Shadow and Crash platforms. There's also some weird reskins going on, possibly of references I don't really get. Despite that, the level still makes decent use of its gimmicks, and it's also fun looking at the supposed Jungata robots and of the Lost Civilization. During the spike drop, there's a sudden split path for the token, which is a bit rude since it's easy to miss the platform first time around and be forced to restart when you reach the bottom of it and trigger a checkpoint. The third token in the wave bike side is a bit obscure to get, too. Not too bad, though, once you notice the hints. Yeah, the pipe is very obviously hollow, which does help. Boss is a reskin of Pharaoh Man, pretty much, with a few tweaks on the damage number to make it more punishing. Pretty nice attention with the resprite work, though. Yeah, I mean, the AI is also adjusted a little bit to make Pharaoh Man's movement more predictable, which is also nice. It must be a requirement that any jungle-themed level in the contest has to feel like it's missing some context. Between the unique-looking Joe enemies, the very cool beach submarine, and the intriguing secret room, there must be more of a story behind this level than the player can see. Yeah, the beach submarine was a clever use of Blizzard Man tiles. Thankfully, I'm only curious and not confused. Confusion only comes into play if I unwittingly go the wrong direction when the split paths reconnect. Polish issues like that are the level's biggest struggle. Take the tile work, for example. The level does a good job of smashing together familiar tile sets to create something new, especially outdoors. And I take the big hollow water pipe that spills into a pool. At the same time, the different tile sets don't always transition smoothly into each other, and individual tiles, usually corner tiles, look a bit off. One thing that annoys me is falling blindly down a shaft, spotting what looks like a secret area, and then hitting a checkpoint before I have any opportunity to throw myself into a pit and go back to the secret. Waiting endlessly for moving platforms to sync up or loop back around is another annoyance. Yeah, there should have been more crash platforms available. Special weapons certainly help, but they often remove the challenge entirely, which is the case with the tokens. For me, set pieces such as the falling bridge and the dinosaur tank are the most memorable parts of the level. The soundtrack, too! Platforming and combat are fine, not overwhelmingly novel or engaging, but by no means terrible. Power-ups and checkpoints are decent, attempts are made to introduce new concepts safely, and it's nice that the boss's projectiles are destroyed along with the boss. Focusing on a slightly smaller group of assets, fleshing out the story, and keeping a closer eye on the little details are what I'd like to see most here. This is a stage that lands in the realm of fine. It's a nice romp with a few flaws, bad knock it down, but overall, still a fairly above-average Mega Man stage. Yeah, they saw the term "make a good Mega Man level," and by God, they made a good Mega Man level. It really leans heavily into Napalm Man, but doesn't have to not feel like a total rehash. And it's a romp I don't really come away with from this stage marveling at the enemy placement, but they also don't fall into the camp of mindless time sinks and nuisances. Bar a few exceptions I'll note later, and some of the 1 HP enemies that are a danger only as you're crossing platforms are honestly well positioned and fun. Honestly, that first water flow room a la Napalm Man is a blast. I think the lack of Copter Joes by itself does that. The use of Crash Van platforms were all into the job for me. Some fun timing challenges, but I think the waterfalls made the odd one a bit too tight. The Batons were really rather mean in this room, though. This is probably the part of the stage I took the longest to clear, by a long shot. It didn't quite fall into frustrating, but I think this section might be rather divisive, as it's cutting it real close. I appreciate the new enemy types, basic and familiar though they are, and I think they look rather nice graphically. But they stick out like a sore thumb next to the cutesy Mega Man enemies. Ideally, it'd be rather nice to see the entire roster at least graphically swapped to be consistent if possible. Yeah, there is that. They look more like Mega Man X enemies. As tends to happen with these sorts of things. The actual timing on the stage is respectable and looks good to me. The shipwreck submarine from Blizzard Man is a really cool segment to mix things up. In many stages, the fact that death pits aren't graphically marked would be a knock against it, but a notable thing here is the stage design. Basically makes take that a non-issue, with the only exception being a weird water pit on the waypoint path. The use of split paths doesn't really detract here, but doesn't really add anything either. I'll say that the point where they reconnect is rather needlessly obtuse and confusing. The stage is a rare case when I think a checkpoint is rather badly positioned and too early. The drop for the club token is not at all easy to parse, so when you fail with a checkpoint immediately on landing, it makes repeated attempts require a total forced restart. Really was rather vexing. The boss, whatever his name is a positive end to the stage, and it's also a simple fun romp. The charge shot probably does way more damage than it should, but it's also so well telegraphed that reliably dodging becomes second nature. Like, seriously, this is how to do telegraphed attacks of this nature. Build up in a telltale sign it's about to launch. Good stuff. That was good. I think within 20 months. You know, let's spin it a little bit more for us today. I'll go with a spark on that one. Yo, this is just a day of nice rompy stages for the most part. Rear Roman was the only real standout in terms of oddballs, but like...
Oh, hey, Wario's different now. Wario, what are you doing, man?
You people need to stop accepting ice levels. Now the heating here is getting to me. No, I didn't get this by dividing into snow. I had a nightmare and woke up like this. What happened in it? I learned that my bank account was frozen. Horrifying stuff.
Does he switch every time you come into the screen?
Okay, I think it's like every time you go in and out of a level.
It's really cute.
Yeah, okay.
It's really cute.
Oh, this thing's full of so many small details.
You could just burn hours looking around after each tier to see what's changed.
Oh. Alright, that's good enough for today. I want to end it there while we're on a very much high note overall. Just pleasant, rompy stages that I really liked.
And, a confusing rush bike stage that, well, could have been better. Could have been worse. Could have been better.
But yeah. Hope everybody enjoyed the content. If you enjoyed, please give it a follow. It helps the channel grow. Gets those numbers going on up. We do succeed here on Twitch.tv. On the YouTube side of things, give it a subscribe. You'll get the notifications as well. I'm gonna call it there. Go see about getting some rest and whatnot. I should be back on tomorrow, probably with some Paper Mario or something, but we'll see. In the meantime, I do want to thank you for watching once again, and I'll catch y'all next time. A very pleasant stream, this. Yes. See ya.